Obito got to his front door and took a deep breath. He always hated going home at the end of the day. He wasn't well liked around here, and the whole Uchiha compound wasn't really a safe place for him. It didn't seem to matter to them that he trained as hard as he could, all that mattered was that he had ended up dead last. The people at the compound often would stop him just to give him a talking to and beat the ever-living crap out of him. His father wasn't exactly nice to him either. In the Uchiha clan, the cruel reality was either you were a great ninja or weren't a ninja at all. He opened the door and walked in. "Mom, Dad, I'm home. The mission went well today." His father, Otsuka, rolled his eyes. "Oh, excellent, you got through another D-ranked completed. How long has your team been doing those now?" Obito really hated when his father did this, a weak dad. Otsuka shook his head. "It's a time of war, most of the other teams how start regular C ranks by now." Obito got a glass from the cupboard. "Minato-sensei doesn't want us doing mission until he feels our team works okay, and Kakashi Baka won't work with us. Please, he just knows you're too weak. Kakashi is a fine ninja and Rin was top kunoichi of the year, you're the one holding them back." Obito scoffed in response. Obito drank some of his water. "Dad, can't you try encourage me just once or something? I'm really trying out there." Otsuka glared at his son. "And what do you have to show for it? You haven't even developed your Sharingan." Obito was getting very tired of the conversation. "You need to be in a life or death situation to activate it." Otsuka growled at him. "Then maybe that's what you need to do." Obito muttered under his breath. "I would have thought that the night you nearly beat death for being dead last would have counted." Otsuka grabbed his son's wrist. "You did that to yourself, you're an Uchiha, you don't get to be dead last." Obito tried to get away. "Dad, let me go, I'm trying." Otsuka grabbed harder. "Trying isn't good enough." He smacked his son across the face, causing Obito to fall to the ground. His mother, Tuhiya, walked in. "Otsuka, is this really necessary?" Otsuka looked at his wife. "Of course, how else will the boy learn?" Tuhiya sighed. "All right darling, if you must, just be sure no one outside the compound knows of it." Otsuka turned to where his son had been and only to realize that Obito had wandered off elsewhere. "The only thing he's ever been good at is running," the man scoffed disapprovingly. Obito looked around until he found the right address. "Sensei said he could find him here if I ever needed him, I really hope he doesn't mind." He knocked on the door and Minato walked out. "Obito, what's up, do you need something?" Obito did his best to hide the bruise on his face. My parents are out of town, could I maybe stay here tonight?" Minato put his finger under the boy's chin and made him look up. "Where'd you get the bruise?" Obito laughed nervously. "Oh, I just smacked my face on a tree on the way here." Minato looked at him. "Why didn't you arrange to stay with one of your relatives?" Obito was nervous he was getting found out. "You know me, I don't think before I do things." Minato motioned for the boy to come in. "Come on in, I think we've got some things to clear up." Obito did as he was told and went inside. A red-haired woman greeted him. "Hello there, you must be Obito, the Uchiha boy Minato-kun's been telling me about. I'm his wife Kushina, nice to meet you." Obito smiled. The woman seemed very nice. "Yeah, does sensei really talk about me?" Kushina nodded. "Of course, he says that you're a very hard worker and that if you keep it up you'll be a great shinobi on day." Minato asked him to sit down on the couch. "Obito, I need you to tell me how you really got that bruise." Obito stammered. "What do you mean, I. Minato looked at him hard. "Obito, come on." Obito looked at the ground. "It's my dad, he's still mad about me not being rookie of the year." Minato sighed and leaned back. "I was afraid of this." "Obito, why didn't you say anything?" Obito scratched the back of his head. "I'm okay, really. I just need to get better and it'll go away on its own." Kushina wasn't having it. "Obito, you can't be serious." Obito got up. "This was a mistake, and I shouldn't have come here." Minato stopped him. "Sit back down. Now how often does this happen?" Obito shifted nervously, I don't know, 2 or 3 times a week. Minato nodded, and how bad are they? Obito rubbed his arm nervously, they're usually pretty bad, although he usually doesn't hit me in the face. He's too careful, that's why he buys me long-sleeve cloths. Minato got up and rolled his sleeve up, there were indeed bruises all up his arm. Kushina gasped, oh my god, you can't keep staying there. Obito pulled it back down, it'll pass, trust me. I'll get stronger and he'll stop. Minato disagreed, Obito, that isn't the point. We need to get out of there. Obito started to cry, look, it's my fault anyway. Kushina came up and gave the boy a hug, no it isn't, and you're a lovely boy and a hard worker. Don't you dare say it's your fault. Minato stood up, I'm going to talk to the Hokage, see about getting you out of there. Obito jumped up, but the Uchihas. Minato was already leaving, don't worry them, they'll have to get through me to get to you. Kushina came up to Obito, come sweetie, let's get you something to eat and make up the guest room for you. Minato walked into the Hokage's office, sir, we've got a problem. Sarutobi looked up, and that would be? Minato told him about the events at his house and the old man rubbed his temples, this is a delicate situation. The Uchihas don't like to be told how they can and can't raise their children, and it's nearly impossible to fight the entire clan. We can't go after them for child endangerment, that's for sure. Minato thought for a second, well, what if someone else were to take him in? Sarutobi looked through an old book he was holding, has he activated his Sharingan yet? Minato shook his head, no. Sarutobi put the book down, then it should be fine, if what you've told me is true then they shouldn't care if someone takes him in. They'll just see it as getting rid of a weak clan member. May I ask, who's taking him in? Minato grinned actually, me and Kushina. I like the kid, and he needs a place to stay. We have more room than we need and I know Kushina will be okay with it. Sarutobi laughed at his plan and gave him some papers, have one of his parents sign this and fill out the rest. I'll take care of the rest. Minato took the paper and went to meet Otsuka. Otsuka heard a knock on the door and opened it to find Minato, what do you want? Minato told him everything he had found out and showed him the papers, I want to take in your so, to become his legal guardian. Otsuka looked at the papers and laughed, why do you want the little failure? Minato glared at him, he's not a failure, he's a good kid who needs some help. That's all. Otsuka pulled out a pen, fine, he's a disgrace anyways. Any objections Tuhia? Tuhia looked nervous, but in the end said, I suppose not, it's probably best if he just leaves the clan anyways. Otsuka signed it, his things are in his room, if you want them grab them. Minato grabbed what few things he felt were worth grabbing and headed back. He was very happy to be out of that house, Obito's parents most certainly weren't the nurturing type. Minato got back to the house to find Kushina and Obito laughing on the couch, oh man that's awesome, he really did that? Kushina just kept laughing, oh yeah, he might be a great ninja but he likes ramen way too much. Minato walked in, glad to see you guys are having a good time. I've got something to talk to you about. Obito looked at him, what's that, did I do something wrong? Minato told him about everything that happened, I'm sorry Obito, but I really do want you to stay. Obito looked scared, why would you do all of this for me? Minato smirked, you're a good kid and I like you, why not? I think it'd be nice to have you here, don't you Kushina? Kushina jumped up, of course, our house is your house. Obito ran up with tears in his eyes and hugged them, thank you. Thank you so much. Minato hugged him back and smiled, he had a feeling that things were about to take a turn for the better. Obito woke up to confusion at where he was before soon remembering he lived with his sensei now. He still wasn't sure how to feel about that, but he figured it couldn't possibly be worse than dealing with his father. The smell of food in the kitchen hit his nose, so he decided to walk out. Kushina was cooking some bacon and eggs on the stove and happily chatting to Minato. It looked strange to Obito. Usually his parents were extremely aggravated in the morning. If he tried to talk to either of them, they would just snap at him. Kushina saw Obito and smiled at him. Morning, Obito-kun. You don't mind if I call you that, do you? Obito nodded that it was okay. Good, I've got breakfast here, so I hope you're hungry. Come on, get a plate and sit down. Obito did as Kushina told him and got plate. He got some food and sat down at the table. Looks good, we don't have this often at the compound. Minto raised an eyebrow. Really, what do you eat? Obito shrugged. Whatever they give us, it's usually just some oatmeal or something healthy like that. For whatever reason, they're super strict about what we eat. Kushina made herself a plate and sat down. I never believed that health kick stuff. I mean, we're ninjas after all. We work so hard, we need extra fat and carbs. Obito liked the sound of that. So, what time do we head out for missions? Minato thought for a second. About half an hour. Why, are you actually gonna be on time today? Obito laughed nervously. Sorry, I lose track of time really easily. I don't know what it is. Kushina shrugged. I was a bit of troublemaker myself back at the academy. If I ever showed up late, they knew I had done something that was gonna be hilarious and expensive to fix. Minato chuckled at the memories. Oh yeah, like when you gave the teacher dango laced with sleeping pills and then dyed his hair pink after he passed out. That was priceless. Kushina winked. That's why I'm a good ninja, I'm sneaky. Obito loved how laid back these two were. It was awesome. Obito went to go grab a quick shower. I'll be sure to be out before we have to leave sensei. Minato nodded. Alright, be sure you're not late. You can't make excuses because I know exactly why'd you'd be late now. Obito scratched the back of his head. Good point. Obito got to the training ground a minute early, much to Rin and Kakashi's surprise. Obito, is that really you? I mean, you're on time and everything. Obito scowled. Yeah, I know, haha, so funny. Well, from now on I'm gonna be on time for everything. Kakashi was clearly quite skeptical. And why is that? Obito wasn't sure how to answer that. Well, it's kind of a long story, don't worry about it. Rin looked at him and saw his cheek. Obito, is there a bruise on your cheek? Obito was getting nervous. Yeah, I just got smacked in the face by a tree, that's all. Minato spoke up. Can you give me a second with Obito, please? They both walked away and Minato turned to Obito. Why don't you want to tell them? Obito looked down. Tell them that my parents thought I was so worthless that they didn't care what happened to me? Yeah, I don't think so. Minato put his hand on Obito's shoulder. Obito, they're your friends, I'm sure they'll support you. You're not worthless, your parents are just asses. Obito was scared, but nodded. Guys, you can come back now. They walked over and Rin was extremely curious. Obito, what's going on? Obito took a deep breath and told them everything that had happened the day before. Rin looked appalled and Kakashi didn't look exactly pleased either. Obito, do they really beat you? Obito didn't respond, he just nodded. Rin ran up and hugged him. Oh my god, Obito, why the hell didn't you tell us? Kakashi answered that, Rin, he hadn't told anyone. He was obviously scared to tell anyone. He's from the Uchiha clan, they're a very private clan. He turned to Obito. I'm sorry, I know we don't always get along, but even I feel bad about this. When my dad was still around, at least he was always there for me when I needed him, you didn't even that. Obito looked surprised at what Kakashi said. Thanks man, that means a lot. Minato smiled. Now you see, teamwork. That's what I've been talking about, everyone trying to understand each other so that we can all work together. I think you guys are finally ready for a C rank. Kakashi liked the sound of that. Alright, awesome. When can we go? Minato laughed at his excitement. I'll set it up so that we can leave tomorrow. I'd like all of you guys to come over and have dinner with us and stay the night so we can be sure we all are ready tomorrow. Any objections? They all shook their head. Good, get whatever you need and then come to my place. We'll go over protocol, have dinner, and then get a good night's sleep for tomorrow. Kakashi hurried home to get ready and Rin waved goodbye. See you soon, sensei, you too, Obito-kun. She left and Obito turned to his sensei. Did you hear that? She called me Obito-kun. Oh man, this is so awesome. Minato smiled and told the boy to head home and tell Kushina to prepare for company while he set everything up with the Hokage. Obito ran home sitting grinning from ear to ear and blushing. Obito got back home and found Kushina sharpening some kunai. Kushina, sensei invited the team to have dinner here and stay the night before we on our first C rank. I hope that's okay. Kushina nodded. Of course, I've been asking to meet his team for ages. I'm just glad I finally get to see the other two. Obito was glad she was okay with all this. That's good. Rinchan called me Obito-kun today. Kushina noticed a little blush when he mentioned her. Oh, do you like this girl? Obito jumped a little at the question. Well yeah, she's my teammate. Kushina laughed. You know that's not what I meant. Do you have a crush on her? Obito nodded slightly. She's beautiful, and smart, and nice, and… Kushina could see he was clearly head over heels for the girl. Wow, you really like her. So why don't you ask her out? Obito looked at her like she was crazy. I can't do that. What if she says no? Even worse, what if she laughs at me? Kushina gave him a soft smile. Well, to be honest, you don't know if she will. However, if she's as smart and kind as you say she is, she'll definitely say yes if you ask. Roll the dice and have some faith. Obito still looked nervous. Okay, but what do I say? Kushina laughed. Come on, I'll help you. Minato got back from the Hokage's office with a scroll in hand. He found that his 3 students were all there waiting for him. You guys are eager, aren't you? They all nodded. Well, good, we've got a few things to go over though. Kakashi, I realize this will be somewhat review for you as you've been on a C rank before. Kushina was a little surprised at that. Really, I thought he was genin. Kakashi shook his head. No way, I've been a chunin for the past 2 years. The Hokage felt it was best if I was on team for a while. All my commanding officers felt that was the one area I was lacking in. If I can prove that I have that, then they'll finally promote me to Jonin. Kushina was impressed. Wow, that's pretty good. I made Jonin at 16 myself. Rin was a little confused by that. Wait, I didn't know you were a ninja. Kushina shrugged. Well yeah, I just don't go on missions as often because of… Well, let's just say I have something very important to the Leaf they don't want to risk. Obito wanted to ask more, but Minato cut in. Anyway, there aren't too many protocols for a C rank, it's all pretty simple. Rin was listening attentively. Okay, so what are they? Minato started to name them off. Number 1, everything that happenings on the mission is classified until otherwise told so. Kakashi rolled his eyes. Well yeah, that's a given for any mission. Minato figured that would be their response. Number 2, if you're captured, say nothing and wait for someone to come find you. Obito spoke up. We would go get them, right? Minato smiled. Well, we're not technically supposed to, but I always say, those who break the rules are trash, but those who abandon their teammates are lower than trash. Kakashi remembered his father dying over such a rule. He still wasn't sure if he agreed with that, but for now he'd accept it. Minato counted off the final rule, and last but not least, the mission is to be done before anything else. We can have fun outside the village later. Obito was getting pumped. Where are we going? Minato told him, we have a mission to deliver a message to scroll to some cloud ninjas at a neutral location. Rin went wide-eyed. Are we finally close to peace with them? Minato smiled. We're getting there, but we've still got a ways to go. Kushina scowled. So we're finally getting those warmongers to listen, huh? Good. Those guys are such power-hungry fools. Obito was sensing some hostility. Did something happen with you and the Cloud Ninja? Kushina frowned and nodded. Crazy little pricks tried to kidnap me when I was about 18. Rin was shocked. Really, why? Kushina sighed. Not a ton of people know this, but I'm the Jinjuriki of the Kyubi. When I was 10 I was brought here from the whirlpool when it was destroyed by the hidden rock. They seek to get all of the tailed beasts. Even Kakashi was interested. Who saved you? Kushina walked over to her husband. Well, this big hunk right here, he saved me from a whole group of Cloud Jonin. He found me when no one else could. Rin loved a good romantic story. How did he find you? Kushina gave her husband a kiss on the cheek. I left strands of my hair so that someone could find me. Only Minato-kun figured out it was my hair. He said that only one person had hair as beautiful as that. Rin had stars in her eyes. Oh, that's so sweet. Kakashi thought it was cheesy, but chose to not to say anything for his own health. Minato smiled at his wife. Hard to believe it took me saving your life just to get you to stop thinking I was some spineless bookworm. Kushina giggled. Well, you were always reading those sealing books, what was I supposed to think? Minato pouted. I was doing it to recreate the yellow flash that Tobirama created. I needed to read those books. Kushina just kept giggling. Come on you guys, dinner's ready. She had made some dumplings and a special fish sauces from back when she lived in the whirlpool. It was fantastic, much to Rin's surprise. I usually hate anything fish related, but this is great. Kushina was glad she liked it. Oh thank you, it's an old favorite of mine. Rin ate some more dumplings. So what's having Obito-kun here like? Kushina smiled. She was hoping Rin would ask that. Oh, it's great, he's just such a little joy to have around. He's so nice and helpful. You must love to have him on your team. Rin smiled at Obito and he blushed. Oh yeah, it's great. I had no idea how bad it was at home though, and he still was always more worried us than himself. He's really something special. Kushina smirked. Hook, line, and sinker. Oh my, sounds like you have a little crush on him. Obito still wasn't sure about Kushina's plan, but he said what he told her to say. Yeah Rin, you trying to take me on a date or something? Rin laughed. Well, he is a nice guy. Who knows? Obito knew it was now or never. How about after we get back from the cloud mission I take you out to dinner? Rin smiled and nodded. Okay, sound good. Obito had to stop himself from jumping up and down in joy. Kushina knew her work was done. They ate the rest of the meal with playful jokes and good stories. It was a good night for all involved. They woke up about 5 in the morning, which was a little early even for a ninja. Obito found he had similar breakfast wait for him from the morning before. Kushina, aren't you up a little early? Kushina yawned. I don't mind at all. The whole not able to go on missions very often thing makes me feel kinda useless. At least this way I'm doing something. Obito started to eat when Kakashi walked out. Wow, you made us breakfast. Thank you Kushina-san. Kushina made him a plate. Don't call me Kushina-san, Kushina is just fine. Kakashi went to eat with Obito watching intently, much to Kakashi's confusion. What? Obito kept watching. Well, I've never seen you with your mask off before. I'm just kinda curious. Kakashi pointed out the window. What's that? They both looked over then turned back to Kakashi to find he had already eaten, wouldn't want to ruin the mystery. Obito was about to object when Rin came out. Hey Kakashi, Obito-kun. Oh, breakfast. Minato got out of the shower to find his wife and students eating breakfast. Oh, hey guys. What's going on? Kushina handed him a plate. Come on, get yourself some food. Minato sat down and started eating. So, how much do you guys know about the war with the cloud? Rin, the always intellectual one, spoke up. The war was started about a year ago, a month after the Rock declared war on us. They offered assistance to us against them in exchange for something that we were never told about in school. Wait, that must have been Kushina, right? Kushina nodded. We of course refused, so they declared war on us. Minato nodded. That about sums it up. we've finally got them to possibly agree to stop the war in exchange for neither side having to pay damages to the other. The third Raikage is getting old and he'll die soon. Without him they'll have a very difficult time beating us. We think they want to end the war before that happens. Obito finished his food and got up. I'm going to take a shower, see you guys in a few minutes. They went to get their things ready so that they could shower and leave. They were all beyond excited for this. The trip to the meeting point was rather boring. Granted, most C ranks don't get much action, but still this was just mind-numbing. At least it gave Obito a chance to talk to Rin. So Rin-chan, did you have any particular place you wanted to go to for dinner when we get back? Rin thought for a second. Well, I do have this dango stand I love to go to, but I never get to go because I'm the only one in my house who likes it. Obito liked the sound of that. Perfect, we'll head there for dinner, then maybe go for a walk around the village. Rin smiled. Sounds great, Obito-kun. Kakashi gave a mock gag at the two. Can you guys wait till we get back to start talking about mushy crap? Minato on the other hand was happy to see his two students starting to form a relationship. Come on Kakashi, let them have their fun. I for one am glad to see those two finally getting together. Rin was confused. What do you mean finally? Obito looked at them with a shut the hell up glare. Oh nothing, people just thought we should get together. Rin nodded. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Kakashi sighed. Man, I forgot how boring C ranks can be at times. Obito had forgotten he had been on these before. Oh right, what kind of C ranks did you go on before? Kakashi was more than happy to talk about his past accomplishments. The biggest one was when I got to go to the Hidden Rock to assist in an assassination of one of their higher-up jonin. But the only thing I actually got to do sneak around a compound with my summoning dogs and bust a few locks. Rin smiled. Still, at your age that's pretty impressive. Minato was about to speak, but suddenly stopped. He had a nervous look on his face and spoke in a low hushed voice. Kakashi, I think I sense someone. Summon one of your dogs and see if they can smell anyone. Kakashi made some hand signs and summoned a pug and told him to sniff around. Why are you nervous, sensei? It's not like it could be someone who's a threat, is it? Minato frowned. I think I've sensed this chakra before, I wouldn't forget it. The pug stopped and looked at them. Any reason I would smell a bull and octopus scent in the same place? Minato scowled. The 8 tails, damn. What the hell are they doing here? The pug sniffed again. I think they're passing us, maybe we're not in for a fight after all. Minato shook his head. No, that's exactly what they want. I was the one who beat A and B last time. They must have figured I'd ask for this mission because I wanted the peace treaty to go through for Kushina's sake. We've got to turn back and go stop those two, they're after Kushina. Obito was confused. Who's A and B? Minato sighed. The Cloud's most powerful tag team, the son of the third Raikage and soon to be fourth Raikage A, and his adopted brother and master of the 8 tails B aka Killer B. Last time they came for Kushina I fought against them and won. They want to get Kushina while I'm out of the village. Thanks Kakashi, you can send the pug away. Kakashi threw the dog a treat and it proofed away. Then he looked at his sensei. Wait, you beat a tailed beast and a Kage level shinobi at the same time? Minato did his best to explain, sort of, but it was because I got to a point where I could have killed B before he go full form. I didn't fight them head on, I just forced them to retreat with some strategy. If I had to full on fight them I doubt I would have won. Rin saw a flaw in what her sensei had just said. Then how do you intend to win this time? Minato smirked. Same way I did last time, by using what they don't know about me against them. Rin was still massively confused. But you said you fought them before, what don't they know about you? Minato looked at his team. That I have you with me. Obito went pale, but we're nowhere near strong enough to fight them. Minato knew this to be true. Yes, but you have skills that I can use to force them into a trap. Do as I say and we can force them into a corner like I did last time. They may be strong, but they count on brute strength to win all their fight. Against me, that won't work. A and B were making their way to the hidden leaf to retrieve the 9 tails. With the third's health going down faster by the day, they needed the 9 tails to win this war. A, however, was nearly ready to kill his brother. "Yo bro, how long till we get there, you know?" A growled, "Maybe if you stop rapping I'll tell you." B shot back at his brother, "The day I stop rappin' is the day you can put me in the grave, on this I won't cave." "Fool, ya fool." A was about to smack his brother when he saw a light out of the corner of his eye. He turned around to find a massive fireball coming his way. A and B jumped back to avoid it and found that dogs were coming at them. A smack one away and B dodge another. They didn't notice a 3-pronged kunai land behind them. A yellow flash appeared and Minato stood behind them, kunais to their necks. "Howdy boys, remember me?" A ground his teeth, "But you were supposed to be on a mission to meet our shinobi, how the hell did you know about us?" Minato smirked, "Did you really think I'd forget you brother's chakra signature? I'm gonna guess that you passed us to make sure that we were really the ones coming with scroll. Bad idea. You guys just head back now and there'll be no trouble." I didn't like the sound of that, "And if we don't? It's gonna take more than this little stunt to take us down." Minato shrugged, "Well, then I send my students back to tell everyone you're here and I hold you off until reinforcement come." Aside, it looked like they got screwed over again. "Fine, but one way or another we will get the 9 tails, that much you can count on." Minato growled in a deep voice, "I'll kill you before I'll let you take my wife. You can count on that." I turned around, "Come on B, looks like this just isn't our day." B followed his brother, "Not bad Mr. Flash, but someday we'll kick your ass." "Fool, ya fool." A smacked his brother, "We already failed the mission, don't make look worse than we already do." They left and the 3 students came out of hiding. Obito looked at his sensei, "So now what?" Minato thought about it for a second, "I guess we just head back and report, no reason to give them the peace treaty at this point." The 3 nodded and headed home, at least the mission was a success, kinda. Minato got back to the Hokage's office and began to tell him everything that happened. "So basically, after we finished our, I don't know whether to call it a conversation or threats, but that doesn't matter. They left and we came back here." Sarutobi gave a large sigh, "So there aren't really any peace offers on the table. Well, that's just awful. We lost too many ninja as it is." Minato put his report on the table, "If it's any consolation, this means they've got to be desperate. If they would make this bold of a move, the Raikage's health must be getting really bad. The war won't be going for much longer if he dies." Sarutobi still wasn't happy, "That still means more people will have to die. This is getting ridiculous, we've got to end this war. I don't care about money or power anymore, I just want the villagers to feel safe again." Minato looked at the man, he remembered when he first took the position of Hokage. He had looked so much younger when he had started as Hokage, the man looked like he had aged 30 years in just 10. Minato put his hand on the man's shoulder, "There's nothing you can do, you've tried everything to end this war without us having to surrender. It's not your fault, sir." Sarutobi looked at the blonde with tired eyes, "Try telling that to all the families of the men who've died in this war. I'm not going to feel better until this war is over, even then I doubt I'll ever sleep through the night again. Every action I make has hundreds of lives hanging in the balance, do you know what that's like?" Minato really felt bad for the old man, "No sir I don't, but you're taking a massive burden off everyone else. Someone has to do this job, you're one of the only people with the balls to take it. If they want to question you, then tell them to come do this job themselves and see how well they do with it." Sarutobi laughed at that, "Thanks, I'll have to remember that one next time the council jumps on my ass." Minato was glad he was able to cheer the man up a bit and he and his team exited the office. Kakashi just gave them a simple goodbye and left, and Rin told Obito that she would see him tomorrow for the date. Obito smiled and told her goodbye and told his sensei to hurry home, "Come on, I want to get some tips from Kushina for the date." Minato laughed and followed him, it kind of reminded him of how he felt preparing for his first date with Kushina. It made him happy that letting him stay with them was really starting to help the boy. Minato had been watching Kushina and Obito talk about what to do and not to do on a date for the past hour, and they still seemed to have plenty to go over. The big date was tonight after all. He listened and found that a lot of the don'ts he had done himself on several dates with Kushina. Kushina-chan, didn't I do half of that stuff on our first date? Kushina laughed, oh yeah, you had no idea what you were doing. Minato was lost, then why'd you agree to the second date? Kushina smiled, because you tried very hard and that's the important thing, that and you gave me one hell of a goodnight kiss. Minato blushed, which Obito found hilarious, yeah, yeah. Obito was on the floor rolling in laughter, oh man, that's freaking hilarious. Sensei's actually embarrassed. Kushina looked at Minato, smiled, sorry sweetie, but I think I might have made you lose some of your credit with Obito. Minato just sighed, I'm going to get some ramen. He left and Kushina turned to Obito, so, where did you say you were going? Obito stopped laughing, this dango place she likes. Apparently she doesn't get to go very often, so I thought it was a good place to start. Kushina nodded, excellent choice, and after that? Obito was glad his first move was a good one, well, then we go out for a walk around the village. I was gonna bring her by this little lake that I really like. Kushina was impressed, very nice. If you give her a great goodnight kiss you'll have this in the bag. Obito went pale, go goodnight kiss? Kushina looked at him with gentle eyes, well, that can wait I suppose. But if I were you I'd try to give her a kiss that would knock her shocks off. Obito gulped, but I don't know anything about kissing. Kushina laughed, oh, believe me when you're kissing someone you really care about, you don't need to know. Just put all your emotion into it and it'll work out just fine. Obito nodded, alright, I'm gonna go grab a shower and get ready. Kushina couldn't help it, she was really starting to care for the boy. He was just part of the family now. She couldn't wait to hear how the date went. Obito got up to Rin's door and knocked. He was in his usual clothes minus the goggles and with his hair done up a bit. Rin came out with a smile on her face, she had on a white top and black skirt. There was a small bit of pink lipstick on her as well. Wow, Rin-chan, you look beautiful. Rin giggled, thanks, you look good too. Obito remembered what Kushina had said and offered her his arm, shall we head out? Rin took his arm, sure, I give you directions to the dango shop while we walk. They start walking, so, how has living with Sensei been? Obito laughed as he remembered Kushina embarrassing Minato earlier, oh man, it's great. I've never had this much fun in my life. You should hear the way they tease each other. Like today. Rin listened to stories about her sensei from Obito, laughing with him constantly. And so Sensei ate the whole stand out of ramen, forcing them to go to the store to get more ingredients. He actually sat there and waited for them for an hour to get more stuff made, can you believe that? Rin nearly fell over from laughter, oh my gosh, that's awesome. They got to the dango place and Obito and Rin sat down. The waitress came up, hello there, welcome to Daitreo's Dango, I'll be your server. What can I get for you guys? Rin didn't even look at the menu, 3 sticks of your special dango please. Obito wasn't an expert in dango, so he just ordered the same thing, I'll have what she's having, thanks. The waitress wrote that down, alright, I'll be right back with some tea for you guys after I put your order in. Obito looked at Rin and started up a conversation, so, what's your family like? Rin thought for a second, well, I'm an only child. I live with my mother since my father died in the war. Obito went wide-eyed, not a good thing to talk about on a date, oh, I'm sorry. Rin shook her head, no, don't worry about it. It was during the Second Shinobi World War, I didn't really know him. I was only like 2 when he died. Obito was thanking God that he didn't walk into something too major, oh, well that's too bad. It must have been hard living without a father. Rin raised an eyebrow, that's a strange, coming from a person who was beaten by their father, She put a hand over her mouth when she realized what she said. Oh my gosh, why did I say that? I'm so sorry, Obito-kun. Obito shrugged. It's alright, it all worked out for the best. Sensei and Kushina have been great for me. Rin still felt bad. I know, I still shouldn't have said that though. Obito placed his hand on hers. Hey, if that hadn't have happened, I never would have lived with Sensei and Kushina. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have even had the courage to ask you out. Rin looked up. Wait, you mean you've liked me for a while now? Obito chuckled nervously. Yeah, actually. Rin looked confused. Why were you scared? Obito looked down. I thought you had a crush on Kakashi. Kushina said I couldn't know that for sure and that if I was confident I'd have good shot with you. Rin was surprised by that. I guess I did have a little crush on Kakashi, but every girl in our class did. It was just a silly crush, nothing serious. It started to go away when I saw the way he treated us when we were put on a team together. You on the other hand are always nice to everyone, and you try really hard at everything. So when you asked me out, I thought it sounded like a good idea. The waitress came back with some tea. Here you guys go. Your food should be out in about 10 minutes. Obito nodded, thanks. He picked up his tea. Well, I'm glad you came out tonight, and I'll do everything I can to make it the best date you ever had. Rin giggled again. Oh, I know you will, Obito-kun, I know you will. Obito and Rin had an extremely fun dinner, between the stories, the great food and the good company. They had ended up walking through the village streets, not really talking much, more just enjoying the others' company. It had been a great night. Sadly it had to end eventually. So Rin-chan, should I walk you home? Rin gave sad little nod. Yeah, I guess you should. I had a great time though. Obito smiled at her. Oh, believe me, I did too. Rin leaned close to him. Do I have to kiss you, or are you gonna kiss me? Obito blushed. Looks like it was the moment of truth. Obito leaned in and captured her lips, something he had wanted to do for years now. His body kind of went on autopilot and they just started to slowly deepen the kiss. He couldn't believe how soft and warm her lips were, even better than he imagined. They parted and all Obito could say was, wow. Rin looked hypnotized. Yeah, wow. Obito-kun, that was amazing. Obito nodded dumbly. Thanks. Suddenly a voice interrupted their moment. Well, if it isn't the Uchiha outcast. What the hell is a pretty girl like that doing with you? Obito looked over to see a man with Uchiha symbol on his cloths and black hair. It was one of the top asshole of the Uchiha, Ruga, who was about a year older than Obito. What do you want, Ruga? Ruga looked him up and down. Why do you still have the Uchiha symbol on your clothes? You're an outcast, right? Obito sighed. I haven't really had a chance to get new clothes yet, I've been kinda busy. Ruga looked at Rin and licked his lips. I can see that. He walked over and stood next to Rin. What's a hot piece of ass like you doing with this little shit? Rin scowled. The only little shit I see here is you. Ruga gave a dark smile. Don't be like that. Why don't you come back to the Uchiha compound with me, then we can have you coming somewhere else. Rin gagged. That's disgusting, you pervert. Get the hell out of here. Ruga grabbed her neck. Hey. Don't you talk to me like that. Do you know what most girls would give to fuck me? Obito gave him a hard punch in the face. Don't touch her. Ruga wiped blood from the corner of his mouth. Bad move, asshole. He charged at him with a kunai only to have his hand caught and Obito who tossed him over his head onto his back. Ruga looked up. How the hell? Rin looked at Obito. Obito-kun, your eyes. Obito looked in a shop window to find something amazing. His Sharingan had activated. What, but how? You have to be in a life or death situation. Rin shook her head. You need to be in extremely emotional distress. Near death just brings that feeling out a lot. Ruga scoffed. So you saw me coming at this little bitch and it activated your Sharingan. Well, that's just great. Obito glared at him. Get thee out of here. I will kick your ass. Ruga started to walk away. I'll leave for now. It'll be more trouble than it's worth to kill you. But I'll get you for this. Rin hugged Obito. Obito-kun, are you okay? Obito hugged her back. Of course, don't worry about me. Rin just held him tighter. I have to worry about my boyfriend. Obito realized what she just said. Wait, boyfriend, really? Rin gave him a deep kiss. Oh yeah, after tonight, you're definitely my boyfriend. Obito really did jump for joy this time. Ruga found Fugaku and entered his office. The man was made clan head last year. He was young but very good for the clan. He was bound and determined to bring the Uchiha clan to its rightful glory. Fugaku-sama, I've got some news about Obito Uchiha. Fugaku didn't even look up. He's no longer an Uchiha in the eyes of the clan. Ruga nodded. I know, but sir, I entered into a confrontation with him and a girl and can only assume is his girlfriend tonight. Fugaku still didn't look up. Are they dead? If so, we have a partially problematic situation on our hands, as he is very close Minato Namikaze and the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. Ruga shook his head. No sir, the emotional distress of seeing his girlfriend in danger caused his Sharingan to activate. This time Fugaku looked up. Now that is a problem. We can't have someone with an active Sharingan running around the village if he's not an Uchiha. This must be fixed immediately. Ruga knew what to do. I'll summon his father and we'll see about getting him back into the clan. What do you wish us to do if he refuses? Fugaku thought for a moment. If he wasn't living with one of the Leaf's top jonin, I'd say kill him. However, with him living with Minato and Kushina, that isn't an option. They'd never let us get away with it. Do whatever you can to get him back without causing Minato to come after us. The Hokage loves Minato and we can't afford any more pressure from above right now. Ruga exited the office. Yes sir, it will be done. Fugaku leaned back in his chair and sighed. This was going to be complicated. Obito got back to the apartment and was still bouncing off the walls from his date. This is the best day ever. Woohoo, this is so freaking awesome. Kushina, sensei, guess what? Kushina and Minato looked at him like he was crazy. Kushina tried to calm him down. Okay Obito, what is it? Did your date go well? Obito was grinning ear to ear. She wants to be my girlfriend. Rin-chan's my girlfriend now. Kushina squealed in joy. This was the type of thing she lived for. Obito-kun, that's wonderful. Tell me everything about the date, don't leave out a single detail. Obito sat down. Dinner was great, she loved the dango. Then we went on a walk and I told her a few funny stories and we just kind of hung out for a while. We had an awesome kiss. After that, well, that's gonna take some explaining. Kushina raised an eyebrow. What happened? Obito activated his newfound Sharingan. We had a bit of an altercation with a member of my old clan. Minato saw his eyes and was completely shocked. Your Sharingan activated, did he almost kill you? Obito crossed his arms. No, he tried to hurt Rin-chan and that made me active my Sharingan. Minato nodded and smiled. I see, well it appears you had one hell of a night. Kushina was about to ask him more about his night when there was a knock at the door. Obito deactivated his Sharingan and got up. I'll get it. He walked over and opened the door to a surprising sight. Dad. Otsuka gave a smile that Obito didn't see very often. Hello son, I've come to discuss you returning to the Uchiha clan. Obito didn't smile, to Otsuka's surprise. Fine, come in I guess. Otsuka stepped in and Minato had to stop Kushina from attacking him. Otsuka, I thought you said your son was a failure and not worthy to be an Uchiha. Otsuka shrugged. I think I may have been too quick in giving up on him. Obito was growling. Dad, do you think I'm stupid? Otsuka wasn't sure what he was talking about. What is with all this hostility from you people? I've come to make amends for Pete's sake, let me. Kushina wasn't going to keep being quiet anymore. Make amends? You beat your son on a regular basis for the past few years, and you think that you can just come over and make amends? Hell no. Otsuka was getting tired of this. Well, you have to start somewhere, don't you? Obito was getting pissed. Dad, do me a favor, will you? Otuka smiled, he felt like he was getting through. Of course, what is it? Obito looked his father dead in the eye. Go fuck yourself. Otuka couldn't believe what he just heard and Kushina was smirking on the side. What did you just say to me? Obito repeat himself, I said go fuck yourself. I'm not an idiot dad, Ruga told you I activated my Sharingan and now you want me back. He activated his Sharingan for emphasis. Otuka saw his son's eyes and grinned, so it's true. Well done son, I'm very proud of you. With these eyes you can rise above all other ninja in your generation. With the clan's help of course. Obito shook his head, no, I'm not going back. I'm happy here, if it wasn't for Sensei and Kushina I never would have activated my Sharingan or gotten Rinchan to be my girlfriend. Now that my life's getting good you want me back, well wrong answer. Leave. Otuka stood up, fine, you'll be back. Someone has to show the secrets of those eyes, and only an Uchiha can do that. Obito scoffed, oh yeah, well the strongest Uchiha ever, Madara, had to learn almost everything himself. If he can do it then so can I. Otuka slammed the door and walked out. Kushina came up and hugged Obito, oh, I'm so proud of you. Minato put his hand on his shoulder, nice job, maybe a little vulgar, but I'll let it slide this time. Kushina smiled brightly at him, I'm glad you're staying, I don't know what we'd do without you. You're part of the family now. Obito liked the sound of that, I'm glad you guys feel that way. Tomorrow I'm gonna go shop for some clothes without the Uchiha symbol on it. For now I think I'll just go to bed. Kushina nodded, okay, but we're paying for it. Don't even try to say no, we insist. Obito yawned and went to bed. Kushina came up and whispered in Minato's ear, how about we go to bed ourselves? I'm still pretty awake though, I'm gonna need you to tire me out. Minato picked her up bridal style, oh, I can take care of that. Rin stood in front of Sensei's front door with a terrified look in her eyes. She had to tell Obito, she cared too much about him not to. She was about to knock when the door opened on its own. Oh Rin, what's up? Minato asked. Rin was a little flustered, oh, I need to talk to Kushina, yeah Kushina. She wasn't sure why she said that, she must have been scared. Minato shrugged, okay, just let me go get her. She just got done giving Obito some cash so he could get some clothes without the Uchiha symbol on them. Obito walked out as they were speaking, oh, hey Rinchan, what are you doing here? Rin stuttered a little, just towel-aching to Kushina, that's all. Obito brushed past her, okay, I'd love to stay and talk, but I've got to get some new cloths. While you're here, what do you think, goggles or no goggles? Rin smiled, well, since you have your Sharingan, they would make fighting kind of hard. Plus, your eyes are really nice. Obito pulled them off and set them on the counter, good point, see you later. Rin stopped him and gave him a big kiss. Obito smiled dumbly, thanks. Rin hugged him, just want to make sure you know how much you mean to me. Obito just kept smiling, oh, I know alright. Obito left and Minato walked out too, I've got to go and handle a few things with the Hokage, you have fun with Kushina. Rin walked in to find Kushina sitting on the couch, hey Rin, what do you want to talk about? Rin took a deep breath, I've got to tell Obito-kun something. Kushina raised an eyebrow, what's that? Rin sat down, first of all, I really care about Obito-kun, you know that right? Kushina nodded, well, the real reason I agreed to the date in the first place is because I wanted to make Kakashi jealous. Kushina was lost, wait, what? Rin raised her hand in defense, I'm glad he's my boyfriend now, but I was just hoping it'd get Kakashi to notice me. I know that's horrible, but I found out I really like Obito-kun. After that kiss and the way he stood up for me. I can't believe I didn't notice how great he is before. But I think I need to tell him the truth, I can't let this relationship be built on a lie. Kushina was taking a lot of info, wow, is that so? Rin was on the verge of tears, you must think I'm awful. Kushina got her some tissues. Hey, you're young. You're bound to make some mistakes. Rin wiped her eyes. I know, but how is Obito-kun gonna feel when he finds out? Kushina gave her a gentle smile. You'd be surprised. I didn't notice Minato-kun until he saved my life and he didn't care about it. Rin frowned, but you didn't lie to him. Kushina gave her a small hug. Just tell him the truth. If he really cares about you as much as he does, he won't care about any of this. Rin did her best to collect herself. Alright, do you mind if I stay here until he gets back? Kushina went to the kitchen. Of course, let me get you some tea. I think that might calm your nerves a bit. Fugaku sat in his office waiting for the report on Obito. He had already gotten one from Otsuka, and the boy refused. That was unheard of. Some families would even send their children to try and seduce an Uchiha so that can be affiliated with them and their standing. Finally, the man he had following Obito around town for the morning arrived. Sir, I followed the subject just as you requested. Fugaku kept his somber look despite his piqued curiosity. And you discovered? The man looked scared to answer. Well, he was buying clothing without the Uchiha symbol on it. Fugaku clenched his fist in rage. Dismissed. The man bowed. Yes sir, sorry I couldn't bring you better news. Fugaku waited till the man left and then slammed his hands on his desk in anger. This insolent little brat was going to be trouble, he just knew it. He had to think of some way to fix this. However, there was no way to fix this without falling into a major pitfall. There must be some way, but what? Obito got back from the store a whole new look. It was a little similar to his old look with a few key differences. Of course, the Uchiha symbol was gone from all his clothes and he no longer wore goggles. His clothes were still dark blue, only now instead of orange with it he had dark red. It was also much tighter, making him look more muscular. Overall, the new clothes made him look much older. He went inside to find Rin waiting for him. Rin-chan, did you wait all this time for me? Rin grabbed Obito's hand. Obito-kun, I need to tell you something. Obito got nervous. What's wrong, did I do something? Rin hugged him. No, you're wonderful. I'm the one who did something wrong. Obito looked confused. What is it? Come on Rin-chan, you can tell me. Rin looked down and confessed the reason she had agreed to go on the date, Obito listening intently. She told him everything and also how bad she felt. I'm sorry Obito-kun, if you're angry with me and you don't want to see me anymore I'll. Obito started laughing. Rin-chan, who cares? Rin looked up startled. What? Obito held her close. So you were trying to get Kakashi first, so what? All it took was one date with me to win you over. After all, if you were still after him you wouldn't have told me the truth. I care about you and you care about me. The way I see it, all's well the end well. Rin was grinning ear to ear. Oh, you're so great. She captured his lips and kissed him passionately. Obito was on cloud 9 until Kushina walked in. I'm glad to see you guys are still together, but would you mind not doing that right in front of me? Rin blushed heavily and Obito pouted. Hey, I didn't yell at you and Sensei for keeping me awake last night. Kushina went pale. Wait, you don't mean? Obito rolled his eyes. These walls are pretty thin and my room's right next to yours. I get you guys need to have sex and all that, but could you maybe do it when I'm not home? Just ask to leave for a while. I don't mind leaving, I mind listening to you screaming out Sensei's name all night. Kushina looked mortified. What all did you hear? Obito shook his head. Do you really want to know? Kushina decided to leave it be. Alright, here's the deal, you guys don't make out around us, and we'll warn you so that you can be out of the here if we decided to get hot and heavy. Deal? Obito agreed. Deal. Just then Minato walked in. Hey guys, what are you talking about? All of them said at the same time, nothing. Minato just shrugged and went to get some food. After having to help Sarutobi dealing with the council, he really didn't care what was going on. Obito couldn't be more excited to get to training today. He had went to get new clothes the day before because it was his day off, also he had that conversation with Rin. The night before that was the night he activated his Sharingan, so it was the first day he was going to get to train with it. Obito jumped up and ran to the kitchen, intent on scarfing down his breakfast as fast as possible. Minato saw his plan and stopped him. "Don't go too fast now, I need to discuss how we're going to approach your Sharingan training." Obito was still eager, but knew it was best to listen to his sensei. He sat down across from him at the table. "Okay, what did you have in mind?" Minato got out a scroll. "I didn't just go to see the Hokage for the council meeting, I went to ask him if he remembered anything from his sensei, the first Hokage, if he remembered hearing anything from him about how Madara learned to use his Sharingan. Lucky for us he did." Obito looked at the scroll. "It was pretty old, that's for sure. Are those his notes?" Minato shook his head. "No, those notes were either destroyed or hidden by Madara. This is a scroll that Madara and the first wrote years ago. It's a process they used to investigate their bloodlines. They saved it so that it could be used later to learn more about bloodlines that may be acquired by Leaf at some point. The Hokage gave me the old scroll and made a new copy. He said he had been meaning to anyway since this one was so old." Obito was little confused. "Why don't all Uchihas do this?" Minato shrugged. "They don't think they need to. According to them, all the important things about the Sharingan they know." Obito opened it up and started to read it. It was pretty interesting to read actually. It was a simple but brilliant process. Obito closed it and handed it back to his sensei. "So when do we start?" Minato put the scroll back in the bag he got it out of. "Once we get to the training ground. You finish eating and then get a shower. I'm gonna gather up the things I need for training today." Obito took his last bite and rushed into the shower. Minato laughed at him, couldn't fault the boy for his enthusiasm. Fugaku stood in front of his fellow Uchiha council members with an agitated look on his face. He had looked at the Obito situation from every angle he could think of, and asked his entire council if they had any ideas. After much deliberation they all came to the same conclusion. There was nothing they could do. Minato was too close to Obito to allow anything to happen to him without it being brought up with the Hokage. Killing Minato was out of the question as well, as they couldn't kill someone like him and have it go away quietly. They couldn't go after his friends, as again Minato would stop or report them. Last but not least, Obito had made it abundantly clear, he was not going to rejoin the Uchiha clan. Fugaku was furious. "So what the hell does this mean for us? We can't just have him running around unchecked like this." A council member sighed. "In its most basic form, sir, we're screwed. There's no way to take care of the issues that won't lead to more trouble than it's worth. There isn't a thing we can do." Fugaku was growing angrier by the minute. "So all we can do at this point is just bend over and take it in the ass. You people make me sick. You're all dismissed. Thanks to you fools not thinking before you act, we now have to wait and hope an opportunity to take care of the boy presents itself." The council nodded nervously and left. Fugaku grabbed a nearby vase and smashed it against the wall. "Morons, no wonder the clan's never risen to power. We've been at the beck and call of the Hokage since this damn village began." Mikoto, his wife, walked in carrying a small bundle. "Darling, I realize you're upset, but did you have to wake up Itachi screaming like that?" "I had just gotten him back to sleep." Fugaku looked at his wife and took the bundle from her. "Ah, little Itachi. You my son, you will be the one to lead this clan to glory, and I will pave the way for you. Once you become clan head, well by then I'll have all of these fools just ready for you to come in and take the power that the Uchiha clan rightly deserves. Itachi, you're going to do great things for this clan." Mikoto never did like the way Fugaku talked about Itachi, like his fate was already decided, but at least this way he was showing him some kind of affection. In the 3 months since Itachi had been born, this was the only kind of love she had seen the man give him. She would have to take what she could get when came to Fugaku and emotions. Obito, for the first time in his life, was the first person to the training ground. He even beat Kakashi there, amazingly enough. He had never been this excited to train before. It was time to show those stuck-up pricks from his old clan what he could really do. Kakashi got the training ground and couldn't believe Obito was already there. Wow, never thought I'd see the day you got here before me. What are SE excited about? It must be something if you got here this quickly. Obito activated his Sharingan. Oh, just a new thing I want to try out. Kakashi stood there in shock. What the hell kinda date did you go on? Obito laughed. It's a long story, but all it really boils down to is that Rinchan's my girlfriend now, and I've got my Sharingan. Kakashi groaned. Please don't be all lovey-dovey with her around me. I don't think I could take it. Obito could see Kakashi really wasn't one for public displays of affection. Fair enough, I guess. He paused for a second. I gotta ask, you're surrounded by women, you would do anything you ask and you don't do anything about it. Are you, well you know, playing for the other team? Kakashi shook his head vigorously. No way dude, I'm straight. Obito apologized. Sorry, but if you're straight how come you never do anything with the girls? Kakashi laughed nervously. Well, they like sending me photos, special photos. It was like my own personal sex ed. Most of the girls who send them are actually older than me. Before those pictures I didn't know girls could bend back that far. He looked like he was daydreaming. Obito waved his hand in front of his face. Hello, Kakashi. Kakashi shook his head back and went back into reality. Anyway, I use the photos to control myself. Obito raised an eyebrow. What do you mean, OH? Sorry, forget I asked. Kakashi of course agreed. Good idea. Minato and Rin arrived at the same time. Hey Obito-kun, ready to train? Obito smirked. Oh yeah, this is gonna be awesome. Minato needed to calm him down. Obito, we aren't just going to rush right into this. I've set up a course for you to go through, and you're going to spar with Kakashi once before yet activate your Sharingan. Obito remembered the scroll. Oh right, then I take notes about how I did and everything I noticed. Then I do the same thing again, only with my Sharingan activated and see what the difference is in the time and what I notice. Minato nodded. Right, the first step in understanding your bloodline. Once we understand what it can do and how it does it, using it will be much easier. But before you do that, you need to write down all prior knowledge you have on the Sharingan. It might help us figure something out later. Obito grabbed a scroll and got to work. Alright, that makes sense. Really seems like a lot of work just to understand my Sharingan. Minato shrugged. You're starting from square one, gotta do what you gotta do. Besides, you'll understand the Sharingan better than anyone since Madara Uchiha. Obito knew he was right. Alright, guess this is what I've wanted all these years so I'm not gonna waste it. Let's do this. It took 4 hours to finish everything, with some pretty interesting results. The first time around it took Obito 5 minutes and 35 seconds to finish the course. When he spared against Kakashi it didn't go excellently, although considering Kakashi was already a Jonin level fighter he didn't do bad at all. He activated his Sharingan and the second time around on the course Obito thought he had been much slower, but to his surprise it was only 3 minutes and 57 seconds. So why did he think he was slower? In his second spare against Kakashi he did much better. He started to notice a pattern in Kakashi's fighting and was actually able to land a few good hits on him. Obito wrote it all down, but he still couldn't figure out why he felt so slow on the second time on the course when he did so much better than his first time. He went to his sensei and showed him what he found. Minato thought about it and asked him a question. Did you have as much trouble with the traps the second time around? Obito thought about it. No, I didn't even trip up on one. The first time I hit like 5 of them. Wait, that's it, I get it now. I felt slower because my Sharingan made everything around me seem slower. Minato smiled. Yup, you hit the nail on the head. Well, look into this more tomorrow. You're obviously a little low on chakra after all that. Let's get back home so you can get some rest. Rin came up to Obito. I was thinking after you went home and rested a little bit maybe we could properly introduce you to my parents. They don't know you that well yet so I think you should come over for dinner. Is that okay, sensei? Minato couldn't see why not. Sure, just come and get him whenever you need to get him. Obito and Rin said goodbye and Obito went home to get a nap before dinner. He was a little nervous, but at the moment he was too tired to notice. Obito heard a knock on the door, went to answer the door. It seemed a little early for Rin to be here already. When he opened the door he didn't know what to make of what he saw. "Mom, what the heck are you doing here?" Tuhiya smiled nervously. I wanted to see you. Sorry it took so long, I had to make sure your father wouldn't find out. Obito was skeptical. So you're here on your own, not at the request of the Uchiha clan? Tuhiya realized where he was going. No, of course not. That's actually one of the reasons I came here. I want you to be careful, the clan can't do anything to you right now but they won't stop trying. Keep an eye out, sweetie. Obito scowled. Oh sure, now that Dad's not in front of you want to come to my rescue. Why didn't you try to help me back when he was beating the crap out of me? Tuhiya had tears in her eyes. Because I was scared. Whenever I stood against him the beatings just got worse. Obito yelled, what are you talking about? You never stood up for me. Tuhiya was weeping. No, because I learned, Obito-kun, you had an older brother. Obito stopped yelling. What? Tuhiya cried into her hands. When he was just 5 he had gotten into a fight with someone from the Hyuga clan. He lost and was hurt badly, but rather than help him your father was furious. He screamed at him for losing to a Hyuga, and he started beating him. I tried to stop him but... Obito tried to help her. Mom, it's okay, you didn't do anything. Tuhiya was still crying. He threw me off and said it was all my fault, that I had given him a weak son. The more I tried to tell him to stop the harder he would hit him. Before long. Obito couldn't believe this, he killed his own son, my big brother. Tuhiya looked in her own world. I cradle his lifeless body in my arm, my little Wuhiko. They covered up his death, they made so that my son didn't exist. It was like my sweet little boy was never born. I tried so hard to leave him, but the clan wouldn't have it. You were due in just a few months, and I knew they would make sure he got custody. I needed to stay to make sure that you were safe. I'm so sorry for all you went through. Obito was about to speak, but Tuhiya got up. That's what I came to tell you. Please, stay away from the Uchiha clan. You've managed to get out, don't waste it. Obito wanted to hear more, but his mother was gone. He noticed a picture she had left on the table. It was a boy who looked like him. On the back it said, your big brother, age 4. He wanted to know more, but Rin was due any second. There was nothing he could do at the moment, but he wasn't done with this, not be a long shot. Obito sat across from Rin's parents, her father Gyuden Noara and her mother Yutra Noara. Rin said her mother had remarried when she was 4. To say he was a little out of it at the moment would be an understatement. Between finding out he had a brother who was killed by his father and meeting his girlfriend's parents on whom he needed to make a good impression, his mind was kind of in a scramble. Gyuden asked him a question. So, Rin tells me you live with Minato. Why is that? Rin glared at him. Daddy, I told you not to ask that yet. Obito shook his head. No, it's okay. I wasn't well liked in the Uchiha clan, even by my father. He saw me as too weak and he felt the need to toughen me up. As you can imagine his way of doing that wasn't exactly a good thing. Gyuden realized he had touched on a sensitive topic. I see, my apologizes, I had no idea. Obito took a bite of the fish and rice on his plate. It's in the past now. All I can do is get stronger and prove them wrong. Yutra poured some soy sauce on hers, but Rin mentioned that you had activate your Sharingan. That doesn't sound weak to me. Obito nodded. True, but that was after I left. Once I did they tried their hardest to get me to rejoin the clan. I refused of course. Gyuden was surprised at what he was hearing. How can one of the Leaf's most respected clans get away with something like that? Obito remembered the special Uchiha history lessons he received at the compound when he was younger. Back when the village was first formed, it was more of a partnership between the Senju and Uchiha clans. They didn't elect a Hokage and form a proper government until after more clans want to join them. The first Hokage defeated Madara and was named the village leader. however Madara still wanted special privileges for Uchiha since they were one of the two founding clan. In the end they were made the police force of the village, a power that they still abuse to this day. While they can't hide everything, pretty much anything that happens inside the compound is fair game. As long as they're home, they don't have to follow any law they don't want to. Gyuden was both impressed with the boys' knowledge and disgusted by the Uchiha's actions. Amazing, I never would have guessed they would abuse their power like that. Obito, having grown up in the Uchiha clan, knew exactly why they pulled stunts like that. To be honest, it's kinda stupid how simple the reason they do all this stuff is. Yuta raised her eyebrow. What reason is that? Obito frowned. They always talk about the Uchihas not getting the respect they deserve, and how the Senju clan ruined them. Apparently, they think an Uchiha should have been named as the second or third Hokage, they don't really care which. Their lives revolve around staying the strongest clan and gain the control of the village that they say they deserve one day. Gyuden took a bite of his food. I guess you can't please them unless they get everything they want, can you? Obito shook his head. No, you can't. Anyway, enough about those jerks, please tell me about yourselves. Yuta smiled. The boy was nice, she liked that. Oh, well, like Ren here, I'm a medic ninja. I made Jonin at 24, which is rather good for medic. Most medics don't make Jonin until their late 20s early 30s because they're not usually as strong in combat situations. Ren's a natural with medical ninjutsu, and she's even proving to be pretty skilled in taijutsu. It's very impressive really. Gyuden agreed with his wife. Oh yes, she's doing extremely well. I'm a genjutsu user myself, and my taijutsu is not bad either. I'm not good with ninjutsu because I was born with relatively small chakra reserves. Although that does make using genjutsu much easier. I think that Ren's got chakra reserves making medic ninjutsu very easy for her. They continued to talk for another hour, and it was very pleasant. Obito made a great first impression on them, much to his joy. As much as he would have liked to have just gone home and ended the night on that note, he knew he needed to talk to Sensei about his brother. He wasn't sure if he'd be able to help, but Obito needed to talk to someone and that really wasn't the time to discuss that big with Rin. It was probably gonna be a long night. Obito got home to find Minato and Kushina drinking some tea and discussing something. He wasn't really sure what, but it didn't seem important. He walked in and approached the two. Guys. I just found out something major and I really need to talk about it with someone. Kushina poured him some tea. Of course, did something happen at Rin's? Obito shook his head. No, nothing like that. It's just, well, take a look at this. He handed them the picture to her. She read the back and looked up at Obito. Obito-kun, who is this? Obito sat down and took a sip of his tea. Exactly who it'd say it is, my big brother. Minato didn't understand, but you've never mentioned having a big brother. Obito sighed. I didn't know until today. My mom came in and she told me the truth about some things with my father. Kushina didn't like where this was going. Obito-kun, what did she tell you? Obito told them the entire story, Kushina getting angrier by the second. Before long she crushed her teacup in her hand out of pure rage. That's it. I'm not gonna let him keep getting away with all this. Minato, who was usually the level-headed one, seemed just as angry, killing his own son. How the hell could he kill his own son? Obito looked at the ground. You don't know my father like I do. When she told me I wasn't shocked, just kinda sad. I never even got to meet him. Kushina did her best to calm herself down and sat next to Obito so she could comfort him. Are you okay, with all of this I mean? Obito wasn't really sure how he felt. I never really liked my dad, but after this how can I even call him that anymore? Minato was pacing. We need to get this information to the Hokage, he needs to know about this. Obito stopped him. No, that won't do any good. My brother's already dead and my mom's begging me to stay as far away from the Uchihas as possible. We've got no proof but her word. If we go to the Hokage with this he won't be able to do anything about it. I didn't need you guys to do anything, I just needed to talk to someone. Kushina was surprised at him. Are you sure, you don't want him to pay for what he did? Obito finished his tea and got up. All I want to do is put the Uchiha clan behind me. The only two Uchihas I want to even think about anymore is my mother and my brother. It's been a long day, you mind if I go to bed? Kushina gave him a small hug. Alright, if you need to talk about we're right here. Obito went to bed, he would be training even harder tomorrow. For his mother's sake and his brother's, he had to make getting out of the Uchiha clan mean something. Obito woke up and gave a large yawn. He had gotten a good night's sleep and was ready to kick some ass. He figured out a little about his Sharingan yesterday, and now he had a theory he wanted to test. The now familiar smell of breakfast hit his nose and he ran out to the table. Kushina was drinking coffee and smiled when she saw Obito come out. She started making him a plate. Morning, Obito-kun. Obito thanked her and took the plate. Obito sat down at the table and looked at Kushina. So, still going crazy 'cause you can't go on missions? Kushina pouted. Yeah, thanks to those hidden cloud pricks. They won't let me step foot out of this village, especially Minato. He been getting more and more nervous they'll attack if I ever leave the leaf for even a second. Minato came out and gave her kiss on the cheek. God forbid I worry about my wife. Kushina, you know I just want you to be safe, and they're getting desperate. Please just sit tight for a little longer, okay? Kushina nodded half-heartedly. Fine, but you'd better be home a little more. I'm going nuts here all by myself. Obito looked at his sensei. Hey sensei, I think I've got an idea about the Sharingan. Minato sat down, and that would be? Obito pulled out a scroll. I was going over everything I remember hearing and everything I learned about the Sharingan yesterday, and I think get why it's so good with Genjutsu. Minato was curious. Okay, how is that? Obito pointed out some notes he made on the scroll. Rin's dad told me last night that Genjutsu is used by linking your chakra with the other person's and manipulating it to confuse them. When he said that, I remember the people back at the compound saying something about seeing chakra in colors when you get more tomios. I think that since you can see the person's chakra around them, that makes it easier to chain yours to them 'cause you can actually see it, you know. And I think that's why the Sharingan helps with chakra control too, 'cause you can see your chakra when you use it, making it easier to tell how much you need. The big thing with the Sharingan seems to be comprehension. Did I use the right word there? Minato laughed. He was impressed how much the boy had figured out. Well said, if I had to guess I would say you're right. You go get ready, I'm gonna be down to the training ground late because I have to talk to the Hokage. Obito put his plate in the sink and headed off to the shower, a little curious what sensei had to talk to the Hokage about. Obito got to the training ground and found Rin talking pleasantly to Kakashi, or at least trying to. While Kakashi had gotten better about being a teaming player, he still wasn't really good with just having normal conversations. He just gave short answers that really didn't help to move the conversation forward. Rin, much to her credit, kept trying. So Kakashi, how is training going? Kakashi didn't even look up from the scroll he was reading. Good. Rin was getting annoyed. So, it looks like the cloud might be getting out of the war soon. Any thoughts? Kakashi still didn't look up. I think that it's one less thing to worry about. Rin was ready to scream when Obito walked up. Come on Rin-chan, at least he's talking to us. Rin turned around and gave him a small kiss on the lips. Yeah, I guess. My parents really liked you last night, they want you to come over again sometime. Obito nodded. Sure, sounds like fun. I have some questions for your dad about Genjutsu anyway. The conversation was interrupted when Minato walked up. Well guys, we've got a mission in 3 days, and Kakashi here gets to lead it. That finally got Kakashi to look up. Really, does that mean? Minato smirked. Yep, if you do well enough you'll be prompted to join in. You finally showed enough teamwork for me to ask the Hokage for your promotion. This is your shot, Kakashi. Kakashi was psyched. Awesome, what are we doing? Minato gave him a scroll. Everything you need to know is in there. Obito smiled as he watched his rival and friend reading the scroll like it was the most important document in existence. He had a good feeling about this mission, he really did. Kakashi may not have looked it, but he was incredibly nervous. He could be a jonin at just 13, even during a time of war that was impressive. He had went over the mission brief 14 times, he'd almost memorized it. They were going to destroy the Canopy Bridge, the Hidden Rock's last support line from the Hidden Grass. Without the financial support and supplies from the Hidden Grass, the Hidden Rock would have almost no chance of defeating the Hidden Leaf. It was a brilliant strategic move. This was his chance to redeem the Hatake name. If he could complete this mission and become a jonin at just 13 years old, no one would be able to deny that. Kakashi looked out the window to see morning had come. He gathered his things and went out the door. Today was the big day, and he sure as hell wasn't gonna mess this up. Team Minato was waiting by the gate for Obito, silently hoping he wasn't falling into old habits. Just as Rin was getting nervous, Obito appeared with a box under his arm. "Sorry I'm late, Rin-chan said I was supposed to get Kakashi a present and I had to wait a bit for mine to be done." Rin couldn't believe he actually remembered. "Nice job Obito-kun, I really thought you'd forget." Kakashi sighed, "I told you I didn't want any presents." Rin handed him her present. "Well, too bad, because we got you some." Kakashi opened it to find new mask, only this one had clearly been handmade. "Rin, did you make this?" Rin smiled. "Yup, it's a special kind of material that's designed to be more breathable. I found it at the ninja supply store the other day and I thought it'd be perfect for your mask." Kakashi pointed to shop. "That one right there?" They all looked and Rin said, "No, that's not even a store." They looked back at Kakashi to see he had put the new mask on when they weren't looking. "Thanks for the mask, Rin." Obito handed him his present. "Well, hope you like it." Kakashi opened it to find a new kunai, but with something special. They all had the Hatake clan symbol on them. "Wow, these are amazing." "Thanks Obito." Obito smiled. "Good, I figured you'd like them." Minato looked at Kakashi. "I got you an opportunity to be jonin at 13, so don't go looking at me for a present." Kakashi put them away. "Alright, do you all know the point of this mission?" They all nodded. "Then let's get moving." They had been moving for about 2 hours, but they were still at least 50 miles to go. Kakashi was silently thanking God that nothing had happened so far. He had decided the night before that they would get to the bridge and plant the charges as fast as possible. The less time they were in enemy territory the better. A couple of his summons dogs were staying close to them so that he would know if there were any enemy ninjas nearby. Kakashi was a little surprised that they hadn't even sensed a single enemy ninja anywhere near them. He figured that at least one ninja would be on their route, but the only thing the dogs told him about were some animals. He knew he should be thankful, but something about it just didn't feel right. Should he ask Sensei? No, this was his mission, he needed to prove he could do this on his own. He turned back to his teammates. "This seems a little too quiet, so keep an eye out. I don't want to get caught in a trap." Minato smirked at his student. "I was wondering if you'd notice." "Good call Kakashi." Kakashi gave a sigh of relief. Looks like he was doing alright after all. It had been another 2 hours, and they were less than 25 miles out. Kakashi could see that Rin and Obito were starting to get tired, and to be honest so was he. They had been moving for 4 straight hours. Kakashi didn't like it, but he knew they all needed a break. "Alright people, we're taking a half an hour break. Not a minute more, so make it count." They all nodded, and Minato walked up to Kakashi. "Good call, we want to be out of here quick, but we don't want to be dead on our feet if we meet an enemy." Kakashi sat down. He was doing well so far. He just hoped them not seeing anyone yet wasn't a bad omen. Rin decided to go off and get some water from the river nearby. The boys were busy talking and Kakashi said the dogs hadn't smelled anyone, so she didn't think she really need to tell anyone that she was going. She got to the river and pulled out her canteen to get some water. What she didn't know is that at the distance she had gone, the dogs wouldn't be able to smell anyone. Unfortunately for her, someone was watching from the distance. 2 hidden rock shinobi to be specific. Taiseki, who was using his camouflage jutsus, turned to his partner, Kako. "Isn't the one of the leaf ninjas?" Kako nodded. "Yeah, and she's alone." Come on, let's get her and see what she's doing here. Kakashi stood up and stretched. Alright, break's over. Let's get moving. Obito was looking around. Guys, I can't find Rinchan. Kakashi looked at his dogs nervously. They shook their heads to tell him they couldn't smell her. He looked at Obito. They dogs can't smell her. Do you know where she went? Obito shook his head. No, she must have left when we were talking. Kakashi didn't like this. Damn, Rin, what hell are you doing? Minato put his hand on Kakashi's shoulder. It's your call, Kakashi. Do we go after her or finish the mission? Kakashi was terrified. What the hell was he supposed to go? Obito looked at him. Come on, Kakashi, you can't just abandon her like that. Kakashi was frozen. It was a situation like this that killed his father, that made him disgrace. He abandoned the mission and went after his friends instead. Could he do that, just give up his chance to be Jonin? He was shaken out of his thoughts when Obito yelled again, this girl hand made you mask for Pete's sake, she's one of your only friends. How can you even question this? Kakashi felt his mask mumbled in a quiet voice, those who break the rules are trash. Obito was about to punch him, but then he said in a louder voice, but those who abandon their friends are worse than trash. We're going after her. Obito jumped in the air, that's what I'm talking about, can your hounds track her? Kakashi nodded, yeah, if you have something that has her scent on it. Obito pulled out a scarf, she asked me to hold on to this. Kakashi let his dog sniff it and saw his sensei looking at him. Sensei, I know we have a mission. Minato stopped him, don't worry, I'm with you on this one. Kakashi's dogs barked, which means they had Rin's scent. They started to follow the dogs, all of them prayed Rin was okay. Kako had been in a cave, working on the girl with his genjutsu for almost half an hour, but to avail. He didn't know how, but this kid was resisting all of it. Most people who were twice as old as her would have given in 10 minutes ago. Rin scowled at him, don't you get it, I'm not telling you anything. My friends are gonna be here soon, and then you're screwed. Kako chuckled, well see. Now, how about we go over this again? Why were you and your friends coming here? The genjutsu activated, and once again Rin found herself fighting to stay strong. Rin opened her mouth, we came here too. Kako leaned in, yes. Rin finished, tell you to go fuck yourself. Kako smacked her, little bitch, fine. I'm not gonna stop until you tell us, so you just fight as long as you want. Rin thought to herself, please guys, hurry up. Taiseki, who was using his camouflage jutsu, saw 3 people heading close to his and Kako's location. He was nervous. He was made when he saw the dogs, by them seemed focused on someone else's scent, most likely the girls. The group suddenly stopped, and he did his best to listen to what they were saying. Kakashi turned to his 2 teammates, she's just a few hundred feet ahead. Get ready, she's probably not alone. He turned to his dogs, how many enemies do you smell in the area? The dogs sniffed in the air, 2 unknowns, you guys, and Rin. Kakashi nodded, good, we outnumber them. Obito, activate your Sharingan and tell me what you see. Obito did as he was told, alright, but I've only got 1 Tomio. Obito suddenly noticed something, Kakashi, someone's watching us, my Sharingan can see through the genjutsu that he's using. Kakashi looked where he was gesturing to and threw a kunai. Taiseki raised his own and deflected it, dropping the genjutsu. Obito turned to his friends, you guys go ahead, I'm the only one who can see through his genjutsu, so it makes the most sense for me to fight him. Kakashi looked at him, you better bring her back safe. Kakashi and Minato moved forward and Obito turned to Taiseki, time to show them just how much stronger I've gotten. Kako was about to beat ever-living crap out of this girl. He had had some fighters before, but no one her age had ever fought of this long. Okay, I'm getting real tired of this. If you don't tell me what I want to know, I'm going to. Kakashi appeared behind him, you aren't gonna do jack shit, except for let her go. Kako snorted, what do you think you can take me? Kakashi shrugged, not for certain, but he can. Minato appeared on the other side of him, give her back or you will be killed. Kako scowled, so this is how it huh? Well, why don't I show you a little trick of mine? He made some hand signs, rock lodging destruction. The cave began to collapse around them just as Obito ran in. What's going on? Kakashi was impressed. Did you beat that guy already? Obito smirked. Without that genjutsu he wasn't much of a ninja. Minato grabbed Rin. Let's get moving. I can only take one person with my teleportation and Rin's hurt, so you guys are gonna have to get out yourselves. Obito and Kakashi saw him flash away and started running out, Kako not far behind them. Kako began to throw kunai at them, which they easily deflected. As for the falling rocks, Kakashi was easily able to dodge them with his speed and Obito was having an even easier time with his Sharingan. Obito made some quick hand seals and turned to Kako, Fireball Jutsu. The cave was becoming too narrow, forcing Kako to take a moment to make a mud wall to stop it. Obito and Kakashi used that time to get out of the cave, while it collapsed around Kako. They were panting heavily. Nice move, with the fireball. Obito nodded, thanks, I figured he wouldn't have space to dodge it. Rin ran up to them, are you guys okay? Obito hugged, yeah, what about you? Rin cuddled into him, I'm just fine thanks to you guys. Rin leaned up and gave him a kiss, causing Kakashi to joke, what, don't I get one of those? Rin smirked, take the mask off. Kakashi laughed, well played Rin, well played. Minato smiled at his team, good job guys, let's go finish this. The bridge is 2.5 hours away, after that we head home. Oh, and make Kakashi's promotion office of course. Kakashi's eyes went wide, you mean, but I could have cost us the mission if this took too long? Minato shrugged, true, but no good commander just abandoned his men, especially when we can blow up that bridge at any time. You've earned it Kakashi, I'm proud of you. Kakashi was grinning ear to ear under his mask, he actually did it. Obito and Rin smiled at him and Sensei laughed. This just might have been the best day of Kakashi's life. After they got back from the Kanabi Bridge mission and Kakashi got his promotion, things took kind of a strange turn. Everything got kind of boring for about 3 months. Nothing new with the Uchihas, no big missions. Kakashi even remained a part of their team for the time being. Literally nothing major happened for ages. Obito was actually pretty bored. Obito's training was going well in that time. He had acquired his second Tomio, and learned a lot more about his Sharingan. It helped improve his taijutsu in a big way since his eyes were now able to detect patterns in enemy fighting styles and use them to his advantage. The only 2 people who could still keep up with him in taijutsu were Guy and Kakashi. His ninjutsu repertoire had grown massively. He knew more than 50 different jutsus now, although 30 of them were fire style and none of them were above B rank. Possibly the area he had most improved in was Genjutsu. With his second Tomio, it was amazing how quickly he was able to pick it up. Only Kurina Yuhi could beat him in that area anymore, and he was quickly gaining on her too. But still, nothing really major happened. He was sure that would change when the Chunin exams rolled around, but even that was pretty boring. They were held in the Leaf, and thanks to the war the standard had been slightly lowered. The written portion of the test was actually a test of information gathering in disguise, and thanks to his eyes Obito passed that now problem. Rin did very well too, Obito had no idea she was so good at doing that without being caught. The survival test was easy, between Obito's raw strength and Rin's knowledge and medical jutsu no one stood a chance. Each team was given one part of a 3-phrase code, and had to find some way to get all 3 parts and get back to base. Thanks to Obito's genjutsu, he could just walk while they were in one and ask the code. They were the first team to finish. Finally, the fighting tournament part of the test was the only part that was actually a challenge. Rin was eliminated in the semi-finals by Guy, who was then beaten by Obito in the finals. Guy vowed to train harder because of his failure, despite the fact that he, Obito, Rin, and Asuma had all passed. Luckily, Team Minato stayed together, as did all of the teams until the war was over. It had been productive 3 months, but still, a rather boring 3 months. A week after the Chunin exams, something finally happened. However, it was something that all of them wish hadn't happened. It all started when Minato was summoned to the Hokage's office one morning. It was 4 in the morning to be exact, early for even Minato. However, you didn't say no to the Hokage. Minato entered the office and yawned. "You needed to see me, sir." Sarutobi was looking rather troubled. "Sit down, Minato, I've got some bad news." Minato didn't like his tone. "What is it, trouble with the war?" Sarutobi sighed. "No, actually it's going quite well. After you destroyed the Kanabi Bridge and the rock was cut off from the grass, we managed to get a major leg up on them. The mist, rock, and the cloud are all near defeat. But we're still sending people on missions, including Rin's parents. Minato, Rin's mother and stepfather were both killed in a mission. I got the letter at midnight and they're sending the bodies back today. She's got no other family left, and to be frank I have no idea how to tell her. I was hoping you'd have some advice in that area." Minato sat down, rubbed his hands on his temples. "Damn it. I'm sorry, sir, but I've got no idea what to do either. Rin's not going to take this well. Her family and this team are the two most important things in the world to her." Minato thought for a second. "Let me tell her, she'll take it better from me. You said she's got no family left so she can stay us. Even when this war is almost over we can't seem to catch a break." Sarutobi didn't argue. He didn't have the strength left to do much but nod. "Thank you, that's one less thing I have to deal with tomorrow." He paused for a second and looked at the picture of the past Hokages. "How do you think they did it, dealt with all of this? I'm the most tired I've ever been in my life, and yet I can't sleep a wink. How the hell did they manage to keep themselves sane?" Minato frowned and it was silent for a while. "Sir, I have no idea. Maybe it's just the desire to see everyone you love survive and prosper, or maybe it was them taking solace in the fact that no one else would have to do. All I know is, it's not an easy job, and anyway who takes it either very brave or very crazy, or both." Sarutobi laughed. "Yes, I supposed I am. You do realize you could very well be in this chair one day, don't you?" Minato smirked. "Like I said, brave or crazy. I think both those words describe me pretty well." Sarutobi kept chuckling as he walked out the door. Minato was the one person who could always cheer him up. Otsuka sat in his house, angry, mulling over his life over the past few months. Obito, the little traitor, he had made Chunin. He had activated his second Tomio too. Now, Otsuka was the laughingstock of the Uchiha clan. He had lost all respect from his peers. They blamed him for losing Obito, but how was it his fault? All he did was try to help that boy reach his potential, nothing less, nothing more. None of this was on him. Obito was the one who left. Now he had nothing, no respect from his clan, no son, even his wife wouldn't speak to him. He was worthless, he had nothing that gave his life meaning. What was he supposed to do now? He poured himself another cup of sake and kept drinking. Suddenly he heard a voice. "Well, isn't this a sad sight? A washed-up man who destroyed his own life. Really, I'm not sure why he picked you." Otsuka stood up at the voice he couldn't recognize. "Who said that? Who's there?" A creature appeared out of the ground. It looked like some kind of plant-like humanoid. "That would be me. Zetsu's the name. I've come here because I was asked to buy my master." Otsuka was ready to strike at any moment. "Who's your master?" Zetsu frowned. "Oh, now it wouldn't be any fun if I told you. I just came to let you know I'm watching, and if you play your cards right, there might even be an offer on the table sometime soon. If my master thinks you're worthy anyway. See you later." Otsuka tried to stop him, but the Zetsu thing was already gone. What the hell was that about, and what the hell even was he? Otsuka decided to go to bed. Maybe he had just had one too many cups of sake. Yeah, that must be it. Minato sat in the living room with Rin. He had cancelled training and asked her to come over to the house, and slintlingly thinking over how to tell her. He looked at the bright-eyed girl and decided it was probably best to just get this over with and let her work it out herself. Rin, you know your parents were sent on a mission 3 days ago. Rin smiled, yeah, they're coming home tomorrow. I can't wait. Minato was starting to have a hard time with this. Rin, we got a letter at midnight. There were some problems on the mission. Rin was terrified. Were they hurt? Are they okay? Minato sighed. Rin, they didn't make. They're sending the bodies back this morning. Rin gasped and tears started to form in her eyes. No. No, please. It's a mistake, it has to be. They must be wrong, they. Minato put his hand on her shoulder. Rin, they're sure. I'm sorry, but they're gone. For the time being you can stay with me and Kushina, we've still got plenty of room. Rin was crying and ran into Obito's room and slammed the door. Obito was out at the moment getting some groceries for Kushina while she slept in for once. Minato was confused. Rin knew that was Obito's room, why did she run in there? It didn't matter, he would let her work this out till Kushina woke up and ask her what to do. That didn't take long as Rin's crying woke her up. She walked out and looked at Minato. What's going on, who's crying? Minato leaned back in his chair. Rin, we just found out her parents were killed and I had to tell her. Kushina went wide-eyed. What, where is she? Minato pointed to one of the doors. She ran into Obito's room for some reason. Kushina groaned at her husband's confusion. Of course she ran into Obito's room, she wants him to be there to comfort her. Minato suddenly realized what she meant. Oh, well then we'll just send him in there when he gets back. Kushina rolled her eyes. Yes, but only after we make sure he doesn't comfort her too much, if you know what I mean. Minato laughed. Yeah, good idea. Kushina sat next to her husband. It won't be easy for her to get over this. When the whirlpool was destroyed I cried for weeks. Minato hugged her. All we can do is be there for her, sweetie. Obito got back and put the groceries on the counter. He looked over to find Kushina and his sensei were waiting for him. Something wrong, guys? He asked. Kushina nodded. Obito, sit down. Rin's here and we've got some things to tell you. Obito listened to everything they said with piqued curiosity. Before long he had wide and scared eye. Wow, I can't believe it. That's awful. Wait, did you day she went into my room? Minato put his hand on his shoulder. Yeah, I think she needs you to comfort her. Obito suddenly looked serious. Right, she needs me right now. Kushina stopped him. Just 1 second, make sure that comforting her is all you do. We don't want her starting a new family because she lost the old one. Obito blushed at that. Right. Just comforting, right. Minato and Kushina went to their room while Obito knocked on the door of his. The door clicked open and Rin tackled him onto his bed, cuddling him. What do you so long? Obito hugged her back. How are doing, Rin-chan? Rin had clearly been crying for quite some time. My parents are dead, that's how I'm doing. Obito gave her a small kiss on the head. I'm sorry, is there anything I can do? Rin hugged tighter. Please, just don't leave today. I know I have to get out of here tomorrow, but today I just want to stay in here, okay? I just can't go out yet. Obito was happy to help. Sure thing, I'll go get us some food later. Rin looked up at him. Dango? Obito smiled at her. Yeah, Dango. Rin didn't leave the room for the entire day, only Obito left to get them some food. Kushina didn't sleep that night to make sure that she could hear them if they tried anything. Much to her joy they did not. The only thing she heard was Rin crying occasionally and Obito comforting her. It had been a rough night for Rin. She didn't sleep at all because she would have nightmares if she tried to. Kushina told the next morning that it was quite common, she had nightmares herself after the incident in the whirlpool. Kushina was doing her best to use her experience to help Rin. Trust me, sweetie, it gets better. The only thing I can say is try to keep your mind off of it, and it will get better over time. Rin did her best to smile. Thanks, do you think you can maybe make some pancakes for breakfast? Kushina nodded quickly, of course, blueberry, chocolate chip, what kind? Rin was glad to have Kushina around, chocolate chip please. Kushina got up enthusiastically, chocolate chip pancakes coming up. Obito hugged his girlfriend, want me to invite Kakashi over, that might be helpful? Rin thought about then smiled, yeah, that sounds nice. Obito put on some clean clothes and got ready to leave, be right back. Rin watched him leave, extremely thankful all of her friends were around to help her when she needed it. Kakashi was about to make breakfast when he heard a knock on the door. He was curious who could be at his door this early in the morning. Opening the door he found Obito standing there. Hey Kakashi, didn't wake you did I? Kakashi shook his head, no, I was just about to make breakfast. What do you need? Obito sighed, well, first things first. Rin's parents died on a mission a couple nights ago. Kakashi winced, oh man, that's awful. How's she doing? Obito looked at the ground, not great. She didn't sleep much last night, kept having bad dreams. Kakashi remembered the awful dreams he had when his father committed suicide. That was not a pleased night's sleep, anything I can do? Obito smiled, yeah, she wants you to come over and eat breakfast with us. We're having chocolate chip pancakes. Kakashi seemed to be smiling back under his mask, no problem, just let me go get some clean clothes on. Madara sat in his lair, as usual he didn't move much as he had to keep himself connected to the ghetto statute to survive. Zetsu had just gotten back and given him the news, this Otsuka was indeed a broken man. However, for what Madara needed him for that was perfect. Otsuka would either become his new puppet, he could use this person to carry out his deeds for him. The only thing he needed was a little molding. Zetsu wasn't so sure, sir, you didn't see the look in this guy's eyes, he's insane. If with your guidance, I think he's going to get himself killed with his antics. Madara glared at him, and you have a better idea? This Obito person was my first choice, but with his life taking a drastic turn he's no longer a reasonable option. His father is broken and will do whatever I say. If think you know someone who would be better, please enlighten me. Zetsu cowered at Madara's tone, heh, you're right of course, shouldn't have questioned you. Madara leaned back, just remember, I can create thousands more where you came from. I didn't make you for your opinions. Zetsu gulped and bowed. Note to self, don't piss of Madara. Obito and Kakashi got back to see Rin at the table talking to Minato, Sensei, can we start up on missions soon? I really think that I just need to get mind off things for a while. Minato nodded, yeah, I go and get a B rank from the Hokage during training today. Obito and Kakashi sat down and Obito asked, B ranked, do you think we're ready for those? Kakashi rolled his eyes, Obito, we've got 2 Jonin and 2 Chunin. At a time like this C ranks are not something the village wants us to do. Minato got up and got some plates, more or less, yes. The cloud's on the brink of surrendering, the rock's on its last leg, and the mist hasn't really been in this war for ages, they've just been sending some sporadic attacks here and there. We need all the help we can get to make sure that we can end this war while we have the chance. Kushina put a foot-high stack of pancakes on the table, eat up, you'll need it for training today. They all thanked Kushina and Kakashi looked at Rin, I'm really sorry to hear about your parents, if there's anything I can do just let me know. Rin gave him a sad smile, thanks, but right now I just want to throw myself into my training and try to keep my mind off it. Kakashi understood that, when his father died all he did was train, still, if you need anything just ask. Rin smiled at him again and got herself some pancakes, whenever she was sad she craved sweets. It was really her one weakness when it came to her health. Obito saw that and took note, it may be useful information for later. Obito finished his pancakes and got up, I'm gonna take a shower. I'll try and save some hot water for you guys. Kushina shrugged, use as much as you want, Minato-kun and I can just shower together. Obito blushed, Kakashi got a small nosebleed, and Rin was laughing hysterically. Kushina leaned over to Minato, told you I could get her to laugh. Rin was right about one thing, training was helping to keep her minds off everything. She worked on her medical ninjutsu and her taijutsu. She was easily a Chunin level fighter, but she had long way to go before she was Jonin level. Kakashi continued to work on his Chidori, still to little success. He may have had some improvement with it, but he still couldn't quite get the lighting chakra to focus enough. Still, Kakashi refused to give up. He would die before he would give up on completing the Chidori. Obito was busy working with his Sharingan, mainly his Genjutsu and Taijutsu. He and Kurenai had been having Genjutsu spares for quite some time, and he could almost beat her now. Of course, he still spared against Kakashi a lot too. The two of them's rivalry had gotten even more intense since Obito's Sharingan was activated. It had gotten much friendlier though as well. Minato was excited to see his students training so hard. He headed off to go and get that B-ranked mission he had talked about. A group of ninja watched from the trees, examining all of them carefully. They mulled over who to pick for their task. The boy with blue on wouldn't be a good choice. Several times they heard stories of the Uchiha's Sharingan being able to control tail beasts, so that would defeat their purpose. Originally they were thinking the girl, however considering how close she was to the Uchiha boy it didn't seem like a good choice. Now the one in the mask, that could be a possibility. He was strong, but they had more than enough people to overwhelm him. Not to mention that it would be a blow to the leaf to lose such a promising young shinobi. Yes, he would be perfect. Minato got back to the training ground with a serious look on his face, making his students very curious. He was holding a scroll in his hand. Sorry guys, but when I went to the Hokage's office I was given an S-rank mission. I can't take you guys sorry Rin. Rin looked a little heartbroken, but nodded just the same. Okay sensei, I understand. Minato turned to go back to the house. Now if you'll excuse me, I've got to go talk to Kushina. She's not gonna be happy about this. Obito went up to his girlfriend. Don't worry Rin-chan, I'll make sure you're kept busy. Kakashi decided to ease the tension. Wow, Obito. Didn't know you had it in you. Just don't be too loud or Kushina will notice. They all laughed. Rin knew she really did have great friends. Kakashi walked home that day feeling exhausted. Between sparring with Obito and working on his Chidori, his chakra was wiped out. He was almost at this street when he sensed something in the distance. Was someone following him? Kakashi looked up at the roof and saw some shadows moving. He got into a fighting stance and yelled, "Hey, I know you're there, so come out." Before he knew it he was surrounded by 8 mist umbu, all of whom were staring right at him. One of them began to speak. We apologize, but I'm afraid we need to borrow you. Kakashi didn't like the sound of that. Borrow me? They began to close in. Yes, borrow. You see, we need you to deliver something to the hidden leaf for us. Kakashi pulled out his sword, then fill out mission request. The umbu snickered. Oh, but why go through all the trouble? Besides, we specifically chose you. It's an honor really, not many people get to have this much of an influence in a war. Kakashi was really starting to hate this guy. What the hell are planning to do? He didn't get an answer, instead he got 8 highly trained ninjas bearing down on him. Obito woke up the next morning and headed to Kakashi's. He had forgotten one of his scrolls at the training ground and Obito was going to return it to him. But when Obito turned to get onto Kakashi Street, he found something very troubling. Blood everywhere, torn cloth, broken kunai, the clear leftovers of a big fight. Obito scanned the area for some kind of sign of what happened, and found something terrifying. It was one of Kakashi's special kunai with the Hatake symbol on it. Obito ran to his house and burst inside. Kakashi was nowhere to be found. Next he ran to the hospital. He wasn't there either. He ran home and started screaming, much to Kushina and Rin's confusion. Once they got him calmed down, he explained the situation. Kushina looked as scared as Obito. Is there any way to track him and figure out where he is? Obito thought for a second, then remembered something. He was in a big fight. It would be a while before whoever took him's chakra would die down. It would leave traces that my Sharingan can see. Kushina nodded. Get moving, I'm going to go tell the Hokage and see what he can do. Obito and Rin got up and grabbed everything that they needed. Kakashi was in major danger here, they had to save him. Kakashi woke up in some kind of strange altar room, he was only barely conscious. Why was he here, where was he at all? He could smell some kind of body of water nearby. He suddenly heard a massive roar. Kakashi was liking this less and less by the second. Just what were the mist ninjas planning? Obito and Rin were running as fast as their legs could manage. His Sharingan was on full blast, the Churka traces were starting to get more faint, but there was still more than enough to track them with. They were both dying for a break, but Kakashi's life was at stake here, they couldn't risk even a few seconds. Rin realized exactly where these tracks were leading them. Obito-kun, we're about to enter the water country. They're taking him to the hidden mist. Obito knew that must be true, but that still didn't make sense. The mist, why do they want him? Aren't they pretty much out of this war? Rin had no idea either, no clue, it doesn't make sense. They've got nothing to gain from taking Kakashi, they don't even know who he is. Obito thought about it, maybe it wasn't about Kakashi, maybe he was just a victim of chance. The mist might have been looking for anyone and Kakashi was just there for the taking. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. Rin figured that sounded right, she couldn't think of any other reason. If it really was the mist, this might not be easy. Kushina screamed at the Hokage, what do you mean it'll be an hour before you can send a team? The Hokage rubbed his temples, I don't like it either, but that's the earliest I can have a team ready. There's nothing I can do, with this war going the way it is I'm stretched thin as it is. Kushina, I'm sorry. Kushina ground her teeth. She knew he was doing all he could, but that didn't make it any easier. Fine, then send me. Sarutobi sighed, you know good and well I can't do that. The moment you leave the village the cloud will know. Kushina. Kushina stopped him, I know, there's nothing you can do. Just shut up and let be scared, alright. Sarutobi puffed on his pipe and closed his eyes, he prayed those kids came back alive. Kakashi was stumbling, he felt like he was about to explode. The mist ninjas watched as the Kakashi did his best to get his bearings, he wasn't even sure what was going on. He remembered that he escaped from the mist ninjas and now they were chasing. Kakashi thought hard, where was he, what happened last night? Pieces of last night slowly but surely started to come back to him. Kakashi was tied to massive pole, they had drugged him beforehand. He looked out at the water in front of him, a massive white creature with 3 tails. It looked like some kind of turtle, it definitely had a shell. A bunch of mist ninjas surrounded the creature, and one of them walked up to him. They ripped off Kakashi's shirt, hard to put a seal on you if you've got that thing on you. Another was looking over some scrolls, are you sure that this seal will break once we put his body under too much stress? The other one nodded, of course, we hand deliver him back to the leaf, and once he enters we force him to realce the 3 tails. The leaf will be destroyed. The ninja looked at him and put a hand to his stomach, while another was on the back of the turtle thing, time to begin. Kakashi screamed in pain and soon it all faded to black. Kakashi remembered everything but how he escaped, wait, no he remembered that too. He used what power he had to activate his Chidori. The mist ninjas hadn't expected him to have any fight left him, so when he activated his Chidori and shocked the mist ninjas naturally they jumped away. He couldn't go to the leaf, if he did that everyone would die. What the hell was he supposed to do? A voice sounded from above him, not a BA escaped, but I'm afraid we'll have to knock you out and bring back to the leaf now. We've got one last chance in this war, and you aren't going to lose it for us. Kakashi was about to fire back, when he heard another voice, Phoenix Flower Jutsu. A bunch of small fireball erupted from the trees, hitting the ninja square in the chest. The balls exploded in a massive wave of fire. Kakashi gave a sigh of relief and mumbled, Obito. Rin landed next to Kakashi, are you okay, what did they do to you? Kakashi was barely able to speak, tailed, beast, inside, me. Rin went wide-eyed, a tailed beast, inside of you. Why? Kakashi wasn't feeling well, weak, seal, release, in village. Rin suddenly understood, don't worry Kakashi, we'll get you to sensei and he'll stabilize the seal. Kakashi shook his head, no. Time. Rin screamed at him, Kakashi, we're not just gonna give up on you. Obito jumped down, I think they're backing off a little, how's Kakashi? Rin was starting to try and use her medical knowledge to stabilize him, they sealed a tailed beast in him, they want him to re-sit in the leaf. Kakashi started to cough, Rin, it's not working. Rin was crying, shut up and let me work. Kakashi took something out of his pocket and put in Obito's hand, it was a kunai, Obito, I need you, too. Obito couldn't believe what Kakashi was asking of him, Kakashi, no. Just let Rin fix you up you'll be fine. Kakashi pointed up to the trees, Obito, look. He looked up to a mist ninja in the tree, to which Obito responded by throwing a kunai. The mist ninja jumped away and Obito sent a fireball at one who was off in the distance. Kakashi put another kunai in his hand, they won't stop, no. Time, do it. Obito held the kunai tight, Rin-chan, can you fix him if I give you cover? Rin wasn't sure, there's so much damage, if gets put under much more stress he'll realce the tailed beast. Kakashi looked at Obito, please, I don't want to hurt my friends. Obito looked down at the ground, Rin-chan, step back. Rin was crying, she knew there was no other choice. She put her hands on her chest, I'm sorry Kakashi. Obito put the kunai over his chest, Kakashi. Kakashi was smiling under his mask, I'm glad, you were, my friends, I was, happy, thank you, both, for everything, tell, Sensei and Kushina, same thing. Obito couldn't listen anymore, he plunged the kunai into Kakashi's chest and like that it was over. His pulse stopped and his eyes closed. One of the mist ninja, that little prick just killed out secret weapon. Obito growled, he wasn't a weapon he was my friend. The mist ninja scoffed, I don't care who he was to you, he was weapon to us. And thanks to you he's useless. Obito looked up and Rin gasped, Obito-ku in your eyes. Rin showed Obito his reflection in her headband, his eyes had some kind of strange three-pronged shuriken. He had no idea what was happening, but he wasn't going to question it right now. The mist ninja was getting irritated, if you're done looking into each other's eyes, I think it's time we finished this. Obito looked up at him with hard eyes, before he knew it the mist ninja burst into some kind of black flames. He screamed as the flame consumed him completely, leaving no trace of him behind. The other mist ninjas watched in awe, our mission over, and I don't know what the fuck he just did. Let's get out of here people. Rin looked at her boyfriend to find a small amount of blood leaking from his eyes. She was about to ask him about it when he picked up Kakashi and said in a sad voice, I don't know what all this means, but for now I think we should just get Kakashi's body back home and then figure out what we can. Rin wiped the tears from her eyes and nodded, all she wanted to do was get back to the village at this point. Madara heard the sound of Zetsu approaching and opened his eyes, what do you want Zetsu, I'm very tired today. Zetsu was suddenly very glad he had a good reason for seeing him, Sir, Obito Uchiha, the boy we were looking at before, has developed the Mangekyo Sharingan. Now that caught Madara's attention, how did this occur? Zetsu explained that he had been watching the boy's father, but when Obito went chase after his friend he decided to go and see what was happening as Madara wanted tabs kept on Obito as well. Zetsu finished his story, once the Obito killed Kakashi at his request, the eyes of course appeared. After he killed one of Mist Ninja with the Amaterasu, they fled out of fear. Sir, what does this mean for us? Madara thought for a moment, it means that we tell his father of this new development. Zetsu didn't understand, but why, what do we stand to gain from that? Madara gave a dark smile, I also want you to tell him the secret of the Mangekyo Sharingan, all of it. With a little push, we might improve our soldier even more than I originally hoped. Zetsu still didn't like the idea of using Otsuka. Sir, I know that you don't think I know what I'm talking about, but this man is not the right choice. He's far too reckless, and he'll never truly understand Mangekyo even if we do make sure he can't go blind from them. I'm telling you, this man is not the right choice. We should keep searching. Madara was surprised at Zetsu's outburst. Because you seem so certain, I will take note of your concerns. Thank you. Zetsu bowed. Thank you, sir, that's all. Madara watched as his faithful creation left. He had never seen him like that before. It wasn't like him to argue, so he must have really felt Otsuka was poor choice. Madara would consider other possibilities for his successor for now, but would keep Otsuka in mind. Kushina stood at the village gates, waiting for either the backup team or Obito and Rin. After what seemed like an eternity, finally she saw two figures heading towards her. Wait, two, and what were they carrying? No, it couldn't be, oh god no. Kushina ran out to meet them. What happened? Obito placed Kakashi's body on the ground. They were going to use him as weapon. He asked me to. Kushina was starting to piece together a little bit what happened, but still wasn't sure all of what transpired. As much as she hated it, they needed to go see the Hokage. Come on, something tells me you're not going to want to explain this twice, and something tells me I'm not going to want to hear this twice. They all began to walk with tears in their eyes and Kakashi's body in Obito's arms. Obito looked at Kushina. He wanted me to thank you. He said he was glad you're in his life. He said thanks to all of us he was happy. Rin was starting to cry again, and Kushina was wondering how they would tell Minato. Obito simply thought about those he had lost, his brother who he never got to know, his mother who he couldn't see at her own request, and now his best friend. He swore that he would make all of their sacrifices mean something, and nothing could stop him. Minato couldn't believe his eyes, Kakashi corpse right in front. He had had Obito repeat the story half a dozen times before all of it sunk in. Not only his team, but all of Leaf was heartbroken at the loss. Kakashi was one of their prodigies, truly something amazing. Losing him was something none thought would happen so soon. The most upset were the Uchihas, but not because of Kakashi's death. The Mangekyo Sharingan was the stuff of legends, and the fact that Obito wouldn't let them study it or tell them how he activated it was infuriating to them. Kakashi's funeral was 3 away, leaving his entire team to prepare as he had no other family. Team Minato was really its own family now, as none of them had any other blood relatives. Obito left his clan, Kushina's was destroyed, Minato was an orphan, and Rin had no living relatives left. They were their own little family and they would stick together through all of this. Rin had been very nervous about Obito's eyes, as was Kushina and Minato when they heard about it. Obito-kun, I saw your eyes bleed, you aren't scared about that? Minato nodded. We don't know anything about the Mangekyo Sharingan, we don't even know had you activated it yet. Someone should look it and see if they can figure anything out. Obito rolled his eyes. And who do you know that we can trust to do that? Minato knew exactly who. Jiraiya-sensei's in town and Tsunade owes him a favor. Kushina smiled a bit at Jiraiya's name. She hated the old pervert at first, but once you got to know him he was good guy with a few flaws. After a while you couldn't help but like the man. Wait, Tsunade owes Jiraiya a favor and he hasn't tried to use in some perverted way yet. Minato scratched the back of his head. Well, he has, but Tsunade said she didn't owe him that much. I'll see if I can't get Sensei to get her to take a look at Obito. Obito had to admit, it was a good idea. Fine, I guess it's for the best. Rin was relieved. Obito was gonna get his eye checked out. By the finest medical ninja in the world to boot. The whole team was breathing a little easier at that. Jiraiya groaned, but I was gonna use that favor for something kinky. Minato gave him a yeah right look. Jiraiya-sensei, you know that was never gonna happen. Besides you owe me for getting away from that mob of angry women last month. Jiraiya looked off into space. Oh yeah, that was some good research I got that day. Minato nodded. So you'll get her? Jiraiya sighed. Fine, but it's probably gonna take more than just the favor to get her here. I'm probably gonna have to pay off some of her gambling debts too. Minato grinned, and I thank you for doing it. Jiraiya scraped his chin, well, lucky for you she's in a gambling town not far from here. I'll have her here the day after the funeral. Minato winced at the mention of the funeral, yeah, that's not gonna be a fun day. Jiraiya looked sympathetically at his student, I'm sorry kid, I really don't what to tell ya. I promise I'll be there. Minato started walking back home, thanks, that means a lot. Jiraiya watched his student leave, he didn't envy what Minato was going through. The 3 days to Kakashi's funeral passed by very quickly, everyone found themselves training harder than ever to try and keep their minds off of things. Obito still wouldn't use his Mangekyo Sharingan at the request of his friends, but he did discover that he could activate his normal Sharingan without activating the Mangekyo version. When the day finally came, everyone dressed in the traditional black attire and headed to the memorial stone. A new spot was dug out for Kakashi, whose coffin was set next to the hole. Rin and Kushina were the first to cry at that sight, Obito and Minato didn't show it but they were fighting back tears as well. The rest of their graduating class was there as well, along with several of Minato's friends who came to support him. Jiraiya put a hand on Minato's shoulder and gave him his condolences. They all chatted quietly until the Hokage appeared. Everyone grew silent and the Hokage cleared his throat, hello everyone, if you would sit down we'll begin. They all did just that and the Hokage sighed, as always, we will start with some words from his friends. I believe Minato requested to go first. Minato took a deep breath and stood up. He walked up to the front and looked out at the crowd. Kakashi Hatake was my student, he had more raw talent than any student I've ever seen. At first he lacked teamwork, but before long we became a true team. Kakashi, Obito, and Rin grew closer every day, it was my honor to teach the 3 of them. He was a fantastic ninja and good person, and I'll never forget him. There were some applause and Obito looked at Rin, do you want to go up together? Rin wiped her eye and nodded, yeah, let's go. They held hands and walked up in front everyone. Rin spoke first, when I first met Kakashi I was like every other girl in my class, I thought that he was some dreamy loner who I could save him. Of course I was wrong, he never needed saving to begin with. He just needed someone to show him that, even after his father's death, he wasn't alone. Goodbye Kakashi. Rin was choked up by the end, so Obito started, Kakashi was my best friend and my rival. For as long as I can remember I've been competing with him for one thing or another. Looks like he beat me in the race to the grave too. Kakashi's last words were to thank me and the others for making us happy, but he didn't need to thank me. It was my honor, it was the one thing I could do that he couldn't, get him to open up. Thanks Kakashi, for everything. They all went and sat back down. The day continued as Kakashi was buried, many tears were shed, and the day came to an end. A new name had been added to the memorial stone. The day after the funeral, Tsunade came to Minato's to take a look at Obito with her assistant Shizune. She wasn't happy to be back in the leaf and was trying to get out as soon as possible. You're Obito? Obito nodded, well then get the hell over here and let's get this over with. Tsunade pulled some scrolls out of her bag and read them over, then put a hand up to Obito's eye. Obito activated his Mangekyo Sharingan and Tsunade placed her glowing green hand on the eye. After a few moments, she mumbled to herself and wrote something down and gave it scroll to Shizune, looks like my grandfather's notes were right. Obito didn't understand, your grandfather's notes? Tsunade showed him the scroll she had been reading, Minato told me that you've been using my grandfather's processes to study your bloodline. Well, my grandfather took down some notes on the Sharingan when he was doing his own research about wood reals. Obito was curious, and he found? Tsunade was writing in her scroll again, the Mangekyo Sharingan is incomplete. He noticed Madara started to go blind after he activated his because he didn't know about the effects. I'm not going to go into detail as you wouldn't understand, but all you need to know is the longer you use the Mangekyo Sharingan, the more likely you are to go blind. The regular is just fine, but Mangekyo is more of a curse than advantage. Obito didn't like the sound of that, what about the black flames I used? Tsunade stopped writing and showed him a spot in the scroll, Amaterasu, it completely destroys whatever it's used on. one of the Mangekyo's most powerful attacks. I'm gonna guess you used it accidentally by focusing your killer intent on one of the mist ninjas. When you have your Mangekyo active, you have to be careful with your killer intent as it can set off the Amaterasu. Obito frowned, so how did I activate it? Tsunade wasn't sure how to say this. Well, it's obtained by killing someone you have an extreme emotional attachment to. So when you killed Kakashi, it activated. Rin didn't like the idea of Obito going blind. Is there anything he can do to avoid going blind? Tsunade frowned. Other than use it as little as possible, my grandfather and Madara theorized that by transferring one set of Mangekyo Sharingan to another, you can avoid going blind altogether due to reasons that, again, are too complicated to go into. Obito cringed at that. Sounds like I'll just avoid using it. Tsunade packed her things. Great, we all understand what happened. Now if you'll excuse me, Shizune and I need to get going. Shizune looked less excited, but of course agreed. Yes, Lady Tsunade. They left the building and Rin turned to her friends. I'll be right back, I want to ask her something. They all nodded and Rin ran outside to meet Tsunade. She yelled after her, Lady Tsunade, hold on. Tsunade groaned, What do you want? Rin ran up to her, Lady Tsunade, I need your help with something. Tsunade rolled her eyes, yeah, I figured that much. Shizune looked at her mentor, no need to be rude. Rin looked at Tsunade with determined eyes, I've lost my parents and one of my closest friends in the same week. From what I understand you had a similar situation with your brother and lover. I don't want to just sit around feeling sorry for myself, I want to get stronger. Lady Tsunade, I need you to be my sensei. Tsunade laughed, you got guts kid, but Shizune's my last student. There's nothing you can say to change my mind. Rin kept staring, no. Tsunade raised her eyebrow, excuse me. Rin wasn't backing down, I said no. You're going to be my sensei, I'm not losing anyone else. You've gone through a lot, I know you know how much pain losing someone is. There's nothing you can say to change my mind either. Tsunade frowned, you wanna bet? Rin smirked, you always lose your bets. Tsunade couldn't keep a straight face. She smirked right back at the girl, well played, I've heard you're a prodigy with medical ninjutsu. Tell you what, if you can learn a medical jutsu of my choice by the end of the week, I'll stay and train you. If you don't, I leave. Rin shook her hand, deal, get ready to find your old place because you're staying here. Tsunade walked, we'll see Ms. Noera, we'll see. I'll have a jutsu chosen by tomorrow, see you then. Shizune was grinning from ear to ear. She ran up to Rin, I'm rooting for you. If you win this, Lady Tsunade will finally stay in the leaf again. Tsunade yelled back to her assistant, Shizune, let's get moving. I've got booze to drink and money to blow. Shizune waved goodbye and ran off, coming Lady Tsunade. Rin did, she had gotten Tsunade to give he a chance. She wasn't going to waste this, she was going to get this jutsu completed and she would get Tsunade to stay. For Obito's sake, for all of her friends' sake, she would become one of the greatest medical ninjas the world's ever seen. Her friends would be safe, she would make sure of that. Rin suddenly felt terrified, you want me to learn what? Tsunade grinned, my super strength technique. I use chakra to do it, therefore it's a jutsu. I already know you're good with medical ninjutsu, now I need to make sure you can fight. Rin was sweating bullets, will you at least teach me how you do that so I practice? Tsunade smacked her forehead, well yeah, I'm going to be fair after all. It's actually not as difficult as you'd think. Rin had a hard time believing that, how so? Tsunade went into teacher mode, medical ninjutsu is of course focused largely on chakra control. What you do it focus your chakra so that it increases the force in the respective area you intend to use on your opponent, and forms a protective shell around your body so that you don't do large amounts of damage to yourself when striking someone else. Rin had to admit, it did sound simple, so why isn't everyone doing this? Tsunade shrugged, first, it takes a lot of chakra control, and second, while actually doing it is easy for someone with your control, using to effective levels is still very hard to learn. Rin was pretty sure she got the picture. Easy to learn, hard to master, so, how far do I have to get for me to win the bet? Tsunade pointed to a boulder that was about as tall as she was, and about 3 times as wide. Once you can crush that with one punch, you pass. Rin went pale. What the hell had she gotten herself into? Tuhia watched as her husband continued to drown his sorrow in alcohol, mumbling to himself about some traitor. She felt no sympathy for him, he killed her son after all. Naturally, she had been keeping a close eye on her husband to make sure he didn't do anything rash. They may be cruel and insane, but he was still a decent ninja, well when he wasn't drunk off his ass anyway. Tuhia remembered the man she fell in love with, the man who swore they could escape the Uchiha clan. The man who said they could start a family somewhere, no ninjas, no clan, just peace in some small village. That man was dead now, and in his place stood an empty shell that did as the Uchiha clan asked of him when they asked it. She hated that man. Otsuka stood up, and began to wobble to the door. I need to end this. That boy is my son, and he will not disobey his father. Either he comes home willing, or in a body bag. Tuhia ran up to him. Otsuka, sit down. You're drunk and going to get yourself killed. Otsuka turned to her and scowled. Shut up you bitch. This is your fault anyway. You finally give me a strong son, and he abandoned us. You're worthless, all of this is your fault. Tuhia's eye twitched. Don't you dare say that, I didn't beat my son to death. Otsuka snorted. I did what I had to, what you forced me to do. At that, Tuhia snapped, you bastard, how dare you? I loved Wuhiko, I cried for weeks after you killed him. Otsuka took another swig from his bottle. Please, you think that I care about how much you cried? The only thing that matters in this world is respect, and once I kill Obito I'll have more than enough of that. Otsuka turned around and Tuhia grabbed a kitchen knife. You already killed one of my babies, you won't take the other. Otsuka was about to turn around to respond when he felt it. He looked down at where the sharp pain was coming from and saw the tip of a knife and blood pouring down his chest. Blood was coming from his mouth. You bitch, G.E. It wasn't long before Otsuka fell to the ground, dead a door now. Tuhia spit on his corpse. That's for Wuhiko. A voice came from behind her. Well, when I was told to watch Otsuka this really wasn't what I expected. Was he your best friend? She didn't pay much mind to the strange white plant-like creature behind her. He was my only friends, he didn't let me talk to others really. Zetsu saw the 3-pronged shuriken spinning Tuhia's eyes. Oh, I think I've found something Leader-sama's going to like. Page break. Rin charged at the rock and jumped into the air. First, she filled her first fist with as much chakra as she could manage without losing the amount she needed to protect herself. Then, she surrounded her fist with chakra to keep from breaking the bones in her fist. She gave everything she had and punched the rock directly in the middle. There were several cracks in it, but it didn't actually break. Rin sighed. The rock was about the same size as the one she had to break to win against Tsunade. She only had 3 days left until Tsunade left. Dusting herself off, she got up and prepared to go again. No way in hell was she going to lose this bet. Tuhia listened to Zetsu's plan. She had to admit, it sounded good on paper. She repeated it to herself. So, we give my eyes to Obito and make it look like I committed suicide after killing Otsuka? Zetsu nodded. Yes, then I steal Obito's eye right out from under them for you so that neither of you go blind. You'll both have the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Tuhia still didn't understand that. You still haven't told me how you're going to get the eyes without raising suspicion. Zetsu chuckled. Oh, getting them will be easy, and as for making sure that they're not going to look into it, I've already got that one figured out. You see, Obito will get your eyes, and in your note you'll specifically say that you don't want his eye to fall into the hands of the Uchiha clan. You'll tell him to leave them in your personal family safe for safekeeping just in case there's ever a reason they are needed, which we will then retrieve after he puts them in there. Tuhia had to admit, it was a good plan, and Madara's plan will really work. I can have a world where Wuhiko and Obito would have been raised together? Zetsu was right about this girl, she was perfect. Of course, we'll revive Madara later. Also, we'll implant you with some of the first Hokage's genes so you can form a Rinnegan. Tuhiya raised an eyebrow. Form a Rinnegan? Zetsu smiled. Yup, when you combine the DNA of the Senju and the Uchiha, the Rinnegan forms. One of your Sharingan will become a Rinnegan, making you even stronger. Tuhiya was all in. I only have request. Zetsu shrugged. And that is? Tuhiya scowled. One day, I can come back and destroy this hellhole they call a clan. It needs to be destroyed. Zetsu couldn't believe this, it was too perfect. I don't see why not. Shall we get started? Tuhiya was ready. It was time for her to lead this clan and start anew. To build a perfect world for everyone, for her sons especially. Tsunade stood in front of Rin, eager to see how she did in the bet. Alright Rin, let's see how you did. I'm giving you one shoot at this, so make it count. Shizun smiled at Rin. Good luck Rin-chan. Rin looked around, half the village was there. The idea of Tsunade staying in the village was big news. Obito went up to her. Good luck Rin-chan, I know you can do this. Jiraiya stood next to Minato. Looks like Rin might be training with Tsunade from now on. Minato didn't mind in the least, she can teach Rin a lot more about medical stuff than I can. If she's willing then I'll happily step aside. Kushina was standing near them cheering on Rin. The only thing she was really missing was Banner. Go Rin, you've got this. Rin thanked them all, went over and stood 10 feet from the boulder. Slowly but surely she started running at it. She started closing in on the boulder and focused her chakra, just a few more feet to go. Jumping, she struck it dead center. Cracks began to form, slowly the cracks got bigger and bigger. Everyone held their breath until finally, it crumbled. The crowd cheered, and Rin jumped for joy. Tsunade shook her head. Alright, I guess I really can't win a bet. You win, I'll train you. But don't you dare slack off for even a second, this isn't something just anyone gets to do. Rin couldn't stop smiling. Of course, thank you so much Lady Tsunade. Tsunade waved her off and left. Shizun ran over and hugged Rin. We're gonna be such great friends, this is so awesome. I'll see you soon, I promise. Obito couldn't have been happier. Congrats Rin-chan, you're gonna do awesome with Lady Tsunade. Rin jumped in his arms and gave him a big kiss. This amazing, I'm being taught be the greatest medical ninja ever to live. Obito was about to respond when an Uchiha walked up to him. Hey traitor, your parents are dead, mom killed your dad, then killed herself. They're saying she jumped off a cliff. Says she left everything important to you in the family safe, you'll find her note there. We don't really care what's in there, just get it and leave, it's a nice house we could have others living in. Hurry up about it too. Obito blinked a few times and said, okay, I'll be over in just a little while. I've just gotta get something to pack everything in. Give me about an hour. The Uchiha didn't seem to care. Yeah. Just clean it out before the end of the day. All that stuff should be ours, but your mother left all her stuff in your name so the Hokage won't let us have it. Obito was resisting the urge to punch the man. I get it, you can leave now. The Uchiha left, looking just as emotionless as when he left. Rin looked at her boyfriend. You okay? Obito was surprisingly calm, a little sad about my mom, but she always wanted to escape the Uchiha clan. I think it's for the best in the end. I'm gonna head to home to grab some stuff to put whatever's in that safe in. Rin nodded. Of course, I'm gonna go grab some stuff from my old house. I'm staying with you guys from now on. Obito's eyes went very wide-eyed. Wow, that's insane. Only 14 and we live together. Rin giggled. Relax, it's not like we're by ourselves. Senseis and Kushina will be there. Obito gave her kiss goodbye. Good point, I'll be back soon. Rin walked away. See you then. Obito, looking at the family safe, considered his options. He could just take everything out of it, the simple route, but that didn't seem like a good solution. After all, another family would be moving in here soon. Yeah, he would just take the safe back home, it was small enough after all. He picked it up, it wasn't too heavy so it wasn't that hard. Obito got back and put the combination of the safe. 32-15-27, the same as always. He opened the safe and couldn't believe what he saw inside. It was a set of eyes floating in a jar. Mangekyo Sharingan to be exact. Obito realized what this was. His mother killed his father, an extreme emotional attachment, she had activated the eyes. He had no idea how she knew about the transfer fixing the blindness, but that didn't really matter at this point. He read the note she left, there wasn't really a lot to it though. Apparently she had heard about the transfer from old Uchiha legends. Wait, he remembered that, all the legends about the Mangekyo Sharingan. There were tons of them floating around in the Uchiha clan, no one knew for sure which ones were true. He kept reading, apparently she wanted him to keep the safe and put his eyes in it. He was only to open it if he absolutely had to, otherwise keep it closed and never go near it. Just as he finished reading, Minato walked in. This was gonna be one hell of story for him. Minato, Kushina, Rin, Tsunade, Shizune, and the Hokage looked at Obito in awe. Rin just kept looking jar in his hands then back at his face. So your mom killed your dad? Obito nodded, yup. Rin kept going, took her newfound Mangekyo Sharingan out of her head. Obito nodded again, yeah, took him out of her own head and jumped off cliff according to her note. Rin wasn't believe the words that were coming out of her own mouth, and she wants you to put her eyes in your head so that you don't go blind, while putting your eyes in a safe that we can never open unless things get really bad. Obito just kept nodding, that's about the size of it. Rin looked at her new sensei, is this really a good idea, will it actually work? Tsunade wasn't nearly as skeptical, of course, my grandfather's notes were perfect. The way I see it, she wanted Obito to have these eyes, not to mention they'll make him nearly unstoppable. I say we do it as soon as possible. Obito looked at his surrogate family, you guys are sure about this, I'm not making a mistake? Minato shook his head, don't look a gift horse in the mouth, I'm all for this. Kushina agreed completely, it was your mother's last request, it would be an insult not to. Rin hugged him, I don't want you to go blind Obito-kun, and if these eyes will make you stronger then we should definitely do this. Obito turned to Tsunade, alright then, I'm in. When do we do this? Tsunade thought about it for a second, give me a couple hours to brush up on a few things, but we shouldn't wait too long. The sooner than in your head the better. I'll be back in 2 hours to do the procedure, well to take you to the hospital so we can do the procedure anyway. Obito watched Tsunade leave, Rin going after her as this was a good learning opportunity. It was hard to believe just 6 months ago he was the dead last of his graduating class. Obito looked around the room and gave a small gulp. There were a lot of interesting tools in this room. Tsunade saw his look and laughed, relax Gaki, nothing in here is going to be used on you except for the knockout gas. Obito gave a sigh of relief, good, half the stuff in here looks like torture devices. Tsunade grinned, half of them are, things can have 2 uses you know. Obito laughed nervously, haha, hilarious. Why don't you just tell me what you're going to do? Rin gave him a small kiss on the cheek, it's pretty easy, she'll take the eyes out of head, making sure that they're not damaged while she does it. Then, she puts your mother's eyes in, while connecting the proper receivers. Simple. Obito thought that didn't sound too bad, alright, I guess that doesn't sound too crazy. How long will it take? Shizune answered that one, just under half an hour, so not too long. It can be done in 10, but we want to make sure it's done correctly. Tsunade handed him the gas mask, here, time for a nap. When you wake up your eyes will feel a little strange at first, but before long it'll be like nothing's changed. Obito put the mask on, guess it was time. He had faith in Tsunade's abilities, it would be over in no time. Before he knew it, Obito's eyes started to open. It was pretty weird to be honest, kinda like the first time you put on new glasses. Everything seemed kind of clearer. Rin walked up to him, how do you feel? Obito blinked a couple times, a little different, not bad or anything, just kinda strange. Shizun wrote that down, sounds about right. No pain at all? Obito didn't feel a thing, nope, none. Like I said, just sorta weird. Shizun liked the sound of that, great, that means the surgery went perfectly. You can start training with your new eyes whenever you like. Lady Tsunade should be back with your old eyes in just a second. She's just making sure the eyes will be preserved properly. Even with the way we're preserving them, it's still not a sure thing they won't decompose. The only way to preserve them and make sure they're still usable is to put them special chemical. Unfortunately, the chemical will still decompose the eyes slowly over time. But, it's the best we've got. Tsunade walked in at that moment holding a jar. Here you go, Obito, get this in the family safe ASAP. We don't want the Uchiha finding out we have any spares lying around. Obito grabbed it and put it in his coat. Alright, see you at home, Rinchan. See you later, Tsunade-sama, Shizun. Obito went out the door and Tsunade rubbed her hands together. Alright, Rin, time to officially start your training. Rin looked like she had stars in her eye. She was actually gonna train with Tsunade Senju. This was amazing. Madara looked at the woman across the way with curious eyes. Her own eyes were gone now as they were waiting for Zetsu to retrieve her new ones. This Tuhia girl was of course very surprised to find out Madara was alive, and even more surprised to see what kind of condition he was actually in. Tuhia decided she would break the awkward silence between the two. Zetsu said that your plan will make so that I can see Wahiko again, raise him alongside Obito. Is that true? Madara had to admit, the girl knew about loss. That much he could respect. Yes, with the Moon Eye plan anything is possible. What makes you think you can complete this? Tuhia paused. Well, first of all I have the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Secondly, I'm completely committed to this plan. When it comes to reuniting my family, nothing will stop me. Madara gave one of his dark smiles. Zetsu was right, she's perfect. Zetsu appeared out of the ground as Madara was thinking. I've got the eyes, took them out of the jar and put them in a new jar just like you said. Odds are, it won't be opened for ages, and when they do they'll think the eyes decomposed. Madara stood up and walked to Zetsu. He put his on the side of his body that didn't have an arm. You've done well, now I've got one last gift for all of you. Zetsu started to form a black half. Now, this half will have my very will inside of it. He will help you and is more than capable of transferring the eyes with the equipment around here. When the time is right, you will revive me. Until then, you will pose as my daughter in secret. Everything else you need to know is my notes. Good luck, Tuhia Uchiha. Tuhia gave a dark smile similar to Madara's. Actually, father, it's Tori now. White Zetsu chuckled. He had two sides now. This is gonna be fun. Obito and Rin's training started to ramp after the surgery was done. The two of them spent months training like mad. Rin of course was training hard with her medical ninjutsu, and making major progress. Tsunade said she hadn't seen anyone this naturally talented as a medic since she started training Shizun. It looked like Rin would be Jonin level in no time at all. Obito was growing at a rate that people couldn't believe. Thanks to his eternal Makaigo Sharingan, all areas of his training were improving in leaps and bounds. He had even managed to beat Kurenai in Genjutsu, much to her dismay. She doubled her training after Obito did that, and Guy wasn't exactly happy either, since Obito was now close to him in Taijutsu. Granted, Guy would still beat him in a Taijutsu-only fight hands down, but Obito was still able to give him a run for his money. In ninjutsu, he had simply copied somewhere in the range of 300 different jutsus. He stopped counting at 256, just wasn't really a reason to. Not to mention the fact that he could now use Amaterasu with no side effects at all. At 14 years old, almost the whole village was calling for him to be made a Jonin, almost. The Uchiha clan now despised Obito more than ever, as he was accomplishing things none of them could. Fugaku, despite his best efforts, was unable to get Obito to let them study his eyes. Yet, they had new friends as well. Shizun and Tsunade were quickly added to their little family with open arms. Rin and Shizune were pretty much best friends at this point, hanging out constantly. Yet, the biggest news of all, the war was over. The Mist surrendered after the Kakashi incident, the Rock surrendered after the loss of Kanabi Bridge in exchange for the agreement that neither side would be punished, and Cloud surrendered after the death of the third Raikage. Many people were calling for Sarutobi's retirement, as they felt he had been too lenient with war negotiations. He was more than happy to do just that, as long as the war was over. Retirement sounded great. The matter of a successor was to be announced in just a few days, and two candidates kept coming up. Minato Namikaze and Orochimaru of the Sannin. Minato bowed to the Hokage. He had no idea why he had been called here, most likely he was going to be scolded for something. Sarutobi decided to cut to the chase. Minato, as you know, I'll be retiring in just a few short days. Minato nodded. You will be missed. I can't imagine someone replacing you, but I guess Orochimaru will do his best. Sarutobi shook his head. Orochimaru will not be the fourth Hokage, there's too much darkness in his heart. Minato was confused. Then who is then, Tsunade? Sarutobi rolled his eyes. For Pete's sake, man, it's you. You're going to be the next Hokage. Minato couldn't believe this. Wait, seriously, you want me? Sarutobi smiled. Go tell your family the good news, I'll be moving you guys into the Hokage mansion in just a couple days. Minato bowed again and ran to the door. Right, thank you, sir. I won't let you down. Sarutobi chuckled. Oh, I know, Minato, that's why I picked you. Minato got back in the house and Kushina said hello to him. Hey Minato-kun, he didn't yell at you too much, did he? Minato smirked. Nope, he actually wanted to have a conversation with me. Kushina stirred the pot she had on the stove. About what? Minato was grinning. Hey everyone, got some big news today. You might want to come in here. Everyone came into the kitchen and Obito looked at his sensei. What's up? Minato had to admit, he was pretty proud of himself. They've chosen the new Hokage. Tsunade groaned. Oh god, who'd they sucker into that job? Minato pouted. Hey, they didn't sucker me. I'm honored. Kushina ran up and tackled him. Oh, I can't believe this. You're gonna be the fourth Hokage. Rin was jumping up and down. Oh, sensei, this is amazing. Obito looked at Shizune. Man, my sensei's the freaking Hokage. Didn't see that one coming. Shizune shrugged. At least they didn't ask Lady Tsunade. I think she might have actually punted the third right out the window. Minato stood up. Well, looks like we're all gonna have a lot on plate. With these two training and all. Kushina was giddy. And I'm going on missions again, we're all gonna have a ton to do. This is so great. Tsunade grumbled. I kinda wish I had just stayed going from town to town gambling. On that note, all of them laughed. Looks like things were gonna be a little crazy for a while. After Minato was made Hokage, things really started to go well for the Leaf. The war was over, and it turned out that Minato was some kind of economical guru. He had the Leaf out of debt that comes with war in no time. Minato had the Leaf flying high once again. Obito and Rin had been made Jonin just 6 months after Minato was promoted. Rin was quickly become one of the Leaf's top mednins and Obito had actually been placed in a bingo book as Mangekyo Menace. All was well in the Leaf, things really were going great, and they were only gonna get better. Obito walked by the hot springs to find everyone's favorite white-haired pervert looking inside. You know, you're famous enough to just go sleep with one of those women. Jiraiya didn't even flinch. True, but I'd rather see all of them first. Obito sighed. Why don't you just go get a girlfriend already? You're like 40-something for Pete's sake. Jiraiya shrugged. There aren't any girls that'd take me that I'm interested in. Obito raised an eyebrow. So what one are you interested in? Jiraiya finally pulled his face away from the hot springs. The same girl I've always been interested in, and that is none of your business. Obito rolled his eyes. Lady Tsunade. Jiraiya frowned. How did you? Obito raised his hand to stop him. Don't worry about it. Why don't you just ask her out? Jiraiya looked at the ground. Come on, you know she hates me. Obito was pretty sure that was wrong. No, she hates it when you're a pervert. Just don't try to be funny around her. Jiraiya scratched his head. You got a better idea? Obito smacked his forehead. For God's sake, just be yourself. She hasn't stayed friends with you all these years because you're funny, she stuck with you because you're always there for her. Jiraiya figured it was worth a try. Fine, but you got some idea to make her see I'm serious about this? Obito was ready to smack him. Stop overthinking this, just go talk to her. Jiraiya gulped and knocked on the door. He still had no idea what he was gonna say. Tsunade opened the door. Oh, it's you. Do you need something, or did you just come to tell me about your latest escapade? Jiraiya tried to give a genuine smile. Hey Haim, mind if I come in? I'd really like to talk to you. Tsunade let him in. Of course. Something happen? Did you piss of a bunch of the Leaf girls again? Jiraiya pouted. Tsunade, I really have something I want to talk to you about. Tsunade wasn't used to a serious Jiraiya. Alright, well then don't keep me waiting. Jiraiya started off simple. Tsunade, you know I like to make jokes with you. Tsunade snorted. Jokes? I don't know if I'd call those nasty little tidbits jokes. Jiraiya wasn't off to a good start. Okay, fair enough. Look, the point is I've made some jokes about wanting you. Well, those weren't all full-on jokes. Tsunade started rubbing her temples. If you want to have sex with me, just say it already. Jiraiya groaned. This isn't about sex, I'm being serious here. Tsunade was really lost now. Jiraiya, what the hell are you trying to say? Jiraiya looked her dead in the eye. Tsunade, you're way more than just some friend to me. After Nawaki died and I couldn't help you, it killed me. Then Dan came along, and you were happy again. So I step aside, I wanted you to be happy. After he died, you shut everyone out, so I didn't think that would be a good time either. But, now that you're back in the village. Tsunade put her finger to his lip to stop him. Jiraiya, are you asking me out? Jiraiya was very quiet for once in his life. Then he spoke up. Well, I'm trying to say a little more than that. Tsunade leaned in close to him. Jiraiya, coming back to the Leaf has made me realize a few things. One of them is that I want to try and move on from Dan. That's what he would have wanted, even Shizen thinks so. I can't think of anyone better to start over with than you. She leaned in closer and kissed him, slowly bringing her tongue into his mouth and massaging his tongue with it while sucking on his bottom lip. When they parted, Jiraiya looked at her. Wow, it was that easy? Just tell you the truth? Tsunade laughed. You always did overthink things, Jiraiya. Jiraiya picked her up bridal style. Oh, I'm not gonna be overthinking this one. Jiraiya brought her to the bedroom, Tsunade laughing like a teenager the whole time. Torai looked out at this group that called themselves the Akatsuki. Their goal was peace, but that didn't interest her. Her interest was in Nagato, the boy who Madara gave his Sharingan to so that it could form the Rinnegan. This boy would be a key part of their plan. With his Rinnegan he was invaluable. They had sent these poor souls into a death trap created by Hanzo of Hidden Rain and Danzo of the Hidden Leaf. The leader, Yahiko, was to find one of his closest friends, a girl by the name of Konan, being held at knife point. It was Yahiko's like or Konan's, something that would have Nagato in a very valuable place. He had refused their first offer, but after this he would join them wholeheartedly. Only one thing remained in the way of this plan, the remaining members of the Akatsuki. They were on their way to warn Yahiko, something Tori and Zetsu could not allow. Before long the group came running near them. This was going to be a bloodbath. Shizune and Rin came back looking for Tsunade. Their training was supposed to start half an hour ago. It wasn't like Tsunade to be late. Shizune started calling for her. Lady Tsunade, hello, Lady Tsunade, you here? Rin shrugged, maybe she isn't home. Suddenly she heard a voice from the bedroom. Oh God, faster you toad sage, faster. The color drained from the two girls' faces. Shizune started mumbling, I think we should. Rin nodded, yeah, we should. They ran out of there as fast as they could manage. They wouldn't soon forget this. Kushina tried to contain her laughter, they heard you two having sex. Tsunade shrugged, yeah, but they're med-nines, they'll get over it. Gotta say, Jiraiya did pretty good, I could hardly walk straight. Jiraiya puffed his chest out in pride, got that right. Minato was happy to see that the two were together, so, how are you two gonna work this out with your character traits? Jiraiya smirked, we found a way we could benefit each other with them. Tsunade giggled, yup, Jiraiya still gets to write Ika, and I still gamble with the money he makes. The only stipulations are, he can only do research on me, and I can only gamble as much money as we can stand to lose without going broke. Kushina just loved this, you two really are perfect for each other. Jiraiya gave Tsunade a hug, I'm not giving up much, I've got the best research subject in the world right here. Tsunade hugged him back, and I think I've finally made one bet I can win. They all smiled, things really were going great in the Leaf. Nagato looked at the carnage around him, that vast majority of which he caused. He felt no remorse for it, after all, thanks to them Yahiko was dead. He now had many massive metal poles sticking out of his back, the power that he was feeling was absolutely incredible. Conan looked terrified at everything that had transpired. Just as Conan was about to ask what the hell was going on, a woman appeared. She had most of her face wrapped in bandages up to where her hair was, which was then tied in a pun with two metal sticks keeping it in place. There were also eye holes so that she could see. Do you understand now, the reality of the situation? This world wasn't meant for peace, it's far too cursed for that. Only through my plan can we truly end this world's pain. You will bring to life a new Akatsuki, one that will accomplish Yahiko's dream. With your new power, there's nothing that will stand in your way. Nagato got up, all kindness gone from his eyes, I will sow this world pain, only then can it mature and grow. We must create pain to end pain, and with your help we can do that. As you wish Tori, I shall recreate the Akatsuki, in this new image. Together, we shall save this world from itself. Tori was smiling under her bandages, all was falling in place. Page break. The Hidden Leaf was abuzz with great news. After just 3 months of dating, Jiraiya and Tsunade were going to get married. The two legendary Sannin being joined in marriage was a massive deal for the village. These were two of the strongest shinobi they ever produced after all. It almost made them forget the recent truths about the third Sannin, Orochimaru. His experiments had come to light, and of course he fled the village. Sarutobi simply couldn't bring himself to kill his old student, so when he found the lab he was unable to stop him. In the end Sarutobi was still just a kind-hearted,